Well, it's such a beautiful day. Excuse me while I check and make sure that everything is running smoothly. Pardon me just a moment. Refreshing pages and whatnot. Yep, everything appears to be in order. So, I have one question, and one question only. What is justice? What does it mean to you? Is justice the idea to protect what is precious to you? Is it the idea of exacting revenge against those you see as evil? These are the questions we ask ourselves as Marines. And one can't help but wonder if the idea of justice is askewed in the eyes of the world government. Or is it just a means to an end to do whatever you want in the false sense of righteousness? Would you call this monologue cringy? I'm quite sure they would say so. But I just wanted to say, yo, peoples, what is going on? I figured I'd go ahead and dress the part of, a Marine somehow. Just a little bit. I figure I'd indulge myself. I like it. I like it. But this is what I'm going to be wearing as we talk about today's chapters. Overall, I might have over ironed these corners here because now they don't want to stay down. But, ladies and gentlemen, stay down, I say. Not going to be flip-flopping around with it. Ladies and gentlemen, we've had 3 chapters of One Piece this month, in the month of April. And as you know, I always do a reflection on the chapters that we get at the end of the month. So, thanks, CJ. Sorry I don't have like an actual suit coat because I don't have an actual suit coat on because I don't have an actual suit coat. So unfortunately, I couldn't go that route, but I went as far as getting like an admiral's coat in order to, dress the part. I figure like this is going to be my main outfit that I wear whenever I do One Piece reflections to further emphasize my admiration for One Piece. Hey, D-Train, it's good to see you as well. Now, the funny thing is, this did not come by itself. The surprise that I wanted to bring you guys and the surprise I wanted to do was me just dressing up One Piece wise. At the very least, I look more like an officer, at the most a vice admiral. I tried, because the surprise was I ordered a suit based on I ordered a Kizaru cosplay suit so I could look like Kizaru. But it got here and it was a size too small, and the place where I got it from was currently not accepting returns at the time, which I can understand, what with the quarantine and everything. So I couldn't return it, but it was still money well spent because I got an admiral's coat that still fits me just fine because the size that I got it comes up like high water pants, and the shirt itself is very tight on me, and the coat is very tight on me. But the admiral's coat itself, which I can just drape over my shoulders and I don't need to put my arms through, it's very comfortable for me overall. So overall, I like the ensemble. I really do. So, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, we had 3 chapters in the month of April, and starting with chapter 976, 77, and then 78. Of course, since we went on break, it is one less chapter that we got this month compared to the other months that we've been through. And I know that I use like the Library of Ohara to point out things that I may have missed, but I kind of don't want to rely on that too much because I don't want it to become a crutch for me to, pinpoint things in the manga that I see. I give my own opinion on it, rather me just base my opinions around those who have seen the chapter and, scribble down every single detail that they could find. So that being said, I think like it was good having it when I could. This is going to slip off my shoulders as soon as I stand up, but isn't it? No. Maybe their sense of justice allows it to stay on their shoulders. But I don't want to over rely on the Library of Ohara too much because I kind of just want to give my own opinion on things. But it's 5 minutes have already passed. I've been cringy enough already. Let's go ahead and go through these chapters. We're going to go through them, and I'm not going to spend too much time on them. This flap is going to test me until I tear it off. Then the coat would be ruined. But yeah, we got 3 chapters, starting with chapter 976, which is begging your pardon. And in this chapter, like in the last chapter we left off before then, 975, Kinemon was left dumbfounded by, the information that Denjiro at the time was saying, that he knew, that made it seem like Kinemon was a mad genius on how he anticipated Kanjuro's betrayal and got everyone to go to a separate port and then all to convene at one place. The Straw Hats, Heart Pirates, and Kids Pirates, all respectively showing up at the same time and, just coming together. But in this chapter, the rest of the 9 Scabbards have seen through Kinemon's deception over the fact that Kinemon had absolutely no idea what was going on. So, but he feigned ignorance. And now, here in the Red Scabbards, right here in this chapter, the Red Scabbards are kind of like reprimanding him, saying, just be honest with us, Kinemon. All's well that ends well. We won't be bad, so fess up. Admit it. Admit you thought it was Tokage Port. So they automatically seen through Kinemon because they know what type of person Kinemon is. He is not the sharpest tool in the shed. He is smart, fighting-wise, but when it comes to long thought-out plans that require a lot of brain power, Kinemon is not one of those individuals. And Raizo, Kawamatsu, Kiku, Inuarashi, and Shutenmaru, and Kawamatsu, they all seen through this deception. They're all like, yeah, right, you had absolutely nothing to do with this. What is going on? And then Kinemon is saying, perhaps I will die in the battle ahead. It feels as though perhaps I will die in the battle ahead. I feel as though I've used up an entire lifetime's worth of luck. Now, back then, when I read through this chapter, I was pretty much talking about how luck and fate seems to be a very prominent thing for a lot of characters in One Piece. Fate seems to be something that a lot of people tend to guide their actions, so to speak. The Blackbeard Pirates completely believe in fate, and whatever happens, happens. If they die, then it was fated for them to happen. If they live, then it was fated for them to live. A lot of other people believe in this same manner, so to speak, such as Mihawk, who is it fated for this child, Luffy at the time during the Marineford War, is it fated for this child to fall beneath my blade? We'll just have to see. Hey, Karma, it's good to see you. So luck and fate have a very big part in One Piece. And if it wasn't for luck, then Luffy and the whole crew probably would have died. It was lucky for Zoro to survive being slashed across the chest from Mihawk, because any other person, they would just straight up die. But then at the same time, Mihawk intentionally let that cut be also both deep, but also shallow enough where it didn't kill him. And there's been numerous times where luck has really saved the Straw Hats. Like, it was luck that the Mary found its way towards Annie's lobby and made it so that all the Straw Hats could escape. It was luck that allowed Luffy to survive his first initial fight with Crocodile. It was luck that allowed him to pretty much avoid every single thing that would have caused him to die. Like, pretty much when the Straw Hats back in Sabo the Archipelago, when they were faced down by all those pacifista, it was lucky that Luffy ran into Bartholomew Kuma. I mean, you could kind of see it that way, but if it wasn't for Kuma being there that day, all the Straw Hats either would have been killed by Kizaru or the other pacifistas, or they would have all been arrested. What are we talking about today? We're just running through the chapters that we got this month in April. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get back to the chapter itself. So Kinemon is saying that perhaps I will die in the battle ahead. It feels as though I've used up an entire lifetime's worth of luck. He's not kidding about being lucky. Sir Kinemon, that's our leader. If anything, you've been channeling our good luck for having you as a comrade in arms. And then it's pretty much all the samurai just facing down the beast pirates. And this is where Kinemon gives his rallying cry, his rallying speech. And it pretty much just, boosts the morale of all the samurai around them. Kind of like Bello Betty, but without the use of a devil fruit. So as that's going on, Kanjuro still has Momonosuke. Kanjuro still has Momonosuke in hand and saying, it's time to report. I've completed my role. There's only one thing to do now. And he starts drawing like a big giant bird to fly on. And Kawamatsu dives into the water and then jumps up to slash him. But before he can do that, Kanjuro uses his brush to block the blade. And Kawamatsu says, "You shall not have Lord Momonosuke." "Oh, but I will, Fishman. Kozuki is finished." And then his perfectly drawn giant bird lifts out of the ground and he starts to fly away with him. And then Kanjuro's last words to them are saying, "Next, I will find Hiyori and kill her now that I know she's alive." And he starts flying away with Momonosuke. And Luffy's wondering, like, Momo, where are you going? And of course, we know that Momonosuke is scared of heights. So this moment here when he says, "Let me back down, I'm scared, someone help." So it's not I feel like the fact that it's not Kanjuro's taking him that makes him scared, it's him being up high and scared of heights because of his initial encounter with Kaido, where Kaido just held him up out on the top of the castle of Kozuki Castle, and that caused his fear of heights to begin. So here, I feel like he's more scared of being up high than he is being taken away by Kanjuro. Luffy's wondering, Kanjuro, Momo, where are you going? Because Luffy, as of right now, doesn't know that Kanjuro is a traitor. And he's kind of wondering why him and Momo are going somewhere. Then everyone is wondering what's going on. Sanji gets prepared to use his skywalk. And Sanji gets very close to Kanjuro, but Kanjuro uses Devil Fruit abilities to cause his hair to turn into like black ink clouds that rain down ink arrows, it would seem. Ukiyo Portrait Evening Shower, the name of it is. And it keeps a lot of them from coming after Kanjuro. And Momo tries to plead to Kanjuro, saying, "Stop this, Kanjuro, they're all going to die." "Yes, that's right, they're finally going to die." And one thing I did not notice in this panel is, because I looked over it, is the fact that Sanji uses his body to protect Nami from being hit by these ink arrows in this panel. I can't believe I overlooked that completely. It just shows you how much of a ladies' man and how protective he is of, "I need ladies." It shows you just how protective Sanji is of his crewmates. Because Usopp's wondering, "Sanji, get inside!" But he jumps in the way and just completely shields Nami, who's like cowering and crouched over the fact that these arrows are coming down on her. "Your father, Odin, and mother, Toki, delayed their deaths by 20 years, dangling pointless hope before them. But the general, all those brave and hardy samurai follow is just a wailing child without conviction, cowering from heights." See, which pretty much confirms what I thought earlier, that Momonosuke was scared of being up high and was wanting to be let back down, and not the fact that he was being kidnapped by Kanjuro. So this panel just confirms what I said before.
"I know most of all that I am not Kozuki Odin. I know it better than anyone. Can you all hear me? Do not fret about me. That is what the enemy wants you to do."
Can't take me seriously with that voice coming out of me dressed like this. I understand.
"I will find a way to escape on my own, destroy Kaido and Orochi, and protect Wano. I don't know how. I can't do it. No one will rescue me this way."
And of course, all the rest of the samurai are wailing and crying, thinking like, "Oh, Lord Momonosuke, he's so brave." But Luffy just sees this and says, "By Momo's standards, he's being a real man." Of course, Luffy's voice would never sound that deep because he's always voiced by female voice actor. "That's right, Momo. For such a cowardly, dumb little brat, you're just a kid with a top knot who's all talk." And of course, since Luffy has no chill, all the samurai are coming down on him looking like, "What did he say about the young lord?" Yeah, it's seriously going to slip off my shoulder. It's seriously going to slip off my shoulders if I keep moving like this. Too bad it doesn't have like Velcro inside, or maybe like weights like on the front so it can stay on the shoulder. I don't know. But the samurai hear this and they're looking at Luffy like, "What did you just say?" Find a way to survive. We'll go and rescue you because we're pals. And then Kanjiro just flies off with Momonosuke. And then he starts looking at everyone and says, let's go to Onigashima. And of course, we have Chopper chilling in the background. Everyone's just chilling in the background in their whole samurai getup. And they're all checking on everyone because of that evening shower that pretty much just rained down and hit a lot of their ships already. And as they move on, one of their ships get hit from a long distance by one of the Beast Pirates' long distance cannons that is on one of their ships. And it's just decimating them. I'm not going to do every single panel that goes in there, just the more important moments. And it just starts destroying their ships. And they're wondering, how far is it? How far back are they? Like, how are they hitting us from that distance? They find out there's long distance cannons. And it keeps going like this. And they're wondering, man, we can't get through this if those long-range cannons are out there right now. And, of course, Law says, darn it, I thought it was fishy that they ran off so willingly because the Beast Pirates retreated from them for a moment, if only to get away from the range of the long-distance cannons that were there. Luffy says, full speed ahead, we got to get closer. And then Kid says, sink all the samurai ships you want, see if I care. And, of course, more samurai ships keep getting hit by these long-range cannons. And it keeps going on for a while until we hear someone say, spear wave. And then a massive spear of water pretty much just goes through the whole front half of the ship and destroys the cannons. And then we have one of the best introductions, one of the best monologues we've seen in all of Wano. Begging your pardon. I hail from the Fishman district of Ryugu Kingdom, on the bottom of the sea. I am but a humble newcomer to this group, having imposed upon folks left and right, despite receiving a ritual cup. And everyone is looking on and also like, oh, it's your boy! And they're all just looking awestruck. Despite receiving a ritual cup from the boss of the Straw Hat crew. They call me Jimbei, first son of the sea. And of course, Law and Kid are like, seriously? Straw Hat managed to pull this guy into his crew? Are you kidding? For the sake of a long and fruitful relationship, I would be pleased to make your acquaintance. Like, seriously, in these panels, Law's all like, oh my god, are you kidding? Straw Hat pulled, of all people, Straw Hat managed to pull this powerhouse? And Kid is like, seriously? He's joining the Straw Hats? And then we have the big introduction of the official title of Jimbei. Straw Hat Crew Helmsman, Jimbei, first son of the sea, with a bounty of 438 million. Sorry for forcing you to wait like that, but I've come back alive just as promised, Luffy. I'm glad I made it in time for the battle. And then Luffy ends the note on saying, Jimbei! And the rest of the Straw Hat crew is just saying, Jimbei! Boss! And thus ends chapter 976, which is a very good chapter, mind you. Onwards to 977, which is chapter 977, which is called The Party's Off. So, a lot of people will be sleeping on my boy Jimbei. Oh, do not sleep on Jimbei. Since he's a member of the Straw Hat Pirates, the weaknesses of the Devil Fruit users on that crew is pretty much negated now, because as long as Jimbei is around, they don't have to worry about drowning. Because, sure, Sanji has Sea Walk. Or is it Blue Walk? He can use Skywalk underwater. I can't remember the correct term, so please forgive me if I get that wrong. But even though Sanji can pretty much maneuver through the water just as well as the Fishman, Jimbei is the undisputed master of the sea. And since he is the most powerful Fishman we have seen in One Piece overall, even stronger than Hody Jones, even stronger than Hody, even after he took those those energy steroids. What is the correct name for them? We got time. This is a live stream. I might as well find out about them and get the correct name. Sanji or Jimbei? Who's stronger? In my opinion, Jimbei. Oh, it's Jimbei. Now, Sanji's strong, but he's able to do like a whole bunch of different things, superhuman-wise. But Jinbei is superhuman by birth. Like, I feel like Sanji would be at Jinbei's strength level if Sanji's mother did take that drug to negate his superhuman abilities and make him normal. Now, mind you, Sanji is still well beyond superhuman when it comes to strength. Like, we've seen him fight people that have outclassed him in strength, and he's always decimated them. Even getting to the point after the time skip of being able to take down a pacifista, no problem, which pretty much the entire Straw Hat crew had a problem with. I feel like I'd be in view a lot better if I was sitting like this, but you guys can see me as well. Yes, that is much better, actually. But Sanji is not Fishman strong. Sanji got kicked out of the monster trio. Well, D-Train, one thing that someone pointed out to me when I was reading through that chapter is maybe this monster trio is still a thing, but now Luffy is like... Luffy, so someone said that the monster trio still exists, but it's just Luffy as the captain, who's the strongest, and then you have Zoro. Well, I guess now it would be Jinbei, Zoro, then Sanji. If you want to keep a monster trio and just have Luffy as the most powerful of the crew by himself as the captain. So that's one way you could look at it. I would rather want Sanji in the monster trio than Jinbei. Well, like I said, you can keep it that way. But the new monster trio would be Jinbei, Zoro, and Sanji with Luffy in a class all of his own. What with him learning how to use that advanced form of armament haki, that kind of sets him from both the rest of them, pretty much. But Hody Jones, let me pull up those energy steroids. I remember what they were. Yes, there they are. Energy steroids. I remembered it before the page even came up. So technically, Luffy being in a league of his own. Exactly. Luffy is by far the strongest member of the entire Straw Hat crew. Even with Jinbei on there, Luffy is strong by a large margin. So with that being said, it does not I think it's about time Luffy got his 3 commanders. Well, they are calling him the 5th Emperor, so Jinbei, Zoro, and Sanji, it makes sense that they would be his Straw Hat commanders. One would say, and it would make sense. But let's go into this chapter. In this chapter, everyone is praising that Jinbei has returned, and now he's officially on the ship. And we finally, after a long period of time, even after being denied the chapter before last, of all the Straw Hats being in the same chapter together, we now have a full panel of all the Straw Hats in a single instance. Robin, Luffy, Sanji, Zoro, Usopp, Chopper, Nami, Brook, Frankie, everyone's there now. Did I say Zoro? Zoro's in there too. So all the Straw Hats are in one full panel, so now we can't say that we haven't seen them all in one instance anymore because of this chapter. And they're all wondering what happened, and they're saying, you won't believe Jinbei's steering skills, Frankie, so we finally got a guy who can make full use of the Ship of Dreams, which means that Frankie doesn't have to worry about taking on the responsibility of the Thousand Sunnies repairs, but also... Oh, who is this talking to me from another Discord? Someone sees me. Lazuli? Oh, it's good to see you, Lazuli. Sorry. She's cool people. She's also a great Pirate Warriors 4 player. Like, you ought to see her combos. It's crazy. I gotta get to that level at some point. But Frankie no longer has to worry about his responsibilities of both being the helmsman of the Sunny and also being the repairman of the shipwright of the Sunny. Now he can just focus on, keeping the Sunny repaired and even in the future possibly upgraded. So now Jinbei, since he's the best person to steer the ship, like we've seen him when he steered into the eye of a wave that was caused by Big Mom. He managed to steer them out completely. And since with his fishman strength, he's able to maneuver the Sunny in ways that they weren't able to do it before. So now everyone has their role. Luffy, captain. Zoro, first mate. Sanji, cook. Chopper, doctor. Nami, navigator. Brook, musician. Usopp, marksman. Frankie, shipwright. And Jinbei, helmsman. Robin, archaeologist. I know I didn't say them in order of when they appeared, but that's pretty much everyone's role. They now have a role to fit everything now. There's nothing on Luffy's ship that he needs anymore, which means I don't think he needs any more Nakama. Even though he has tons of friends, he doesn't need anyone added to his crew. So people wondering if Carrot's going to be added. Boa Hancock, waifu. Oh, I am sorry, Kohagen. I am so ignorant of the facts. Because she waiting for your boy. She don't care how long. All she wants some Monkey D. That could be taken one or two ways. Still missing quartermaster. Apparently Oda said that a villain is going to join the crew. Who do you think it would be? What? When did he say this? Now I'm going to be filled with a whole bunch of different thoughts of who will be added. I can't think of anyone right now. Still missing quartermaster. I still wonder who could actually fit that role. Because there's a lot of villains that he's gone up against. Crocodile is too prideful. Kudo, Captain Kudo is out there somewhere. Don Krieg, I doubt it. Rob Lucci, that's a definite no. I saw it on the video from Black-Legged Vinsmoke. It's some time ago since he said that. He's fought a lot of people over the years. Caesar would be the most fitting option. But what role would he play, though? I mean, it's not like they need a scientist on their crew, to be quite honest with you. But let me go back and let me go ahead and go through the chapters, and then we'll talk just a little bit more. But everyone's praising that Jinbei's there, and Jinbei says it's good to be here with you, and then everyone is ready to party. Like pretty much, well, yeah, pretty much everyone on the Straw Hat crew is ready to party, and then Zoro's all like, I smell booze. We don't have any alcohol on board. And then Sanji's wondering, where are you smelling that from? Imagine if Boa Hancock will arrive with Luffy's fleet. Law and Kid will be like, another warlord has joined Luffy's crew. Now, here's the thing. Luffy already has, like, you see how lucky he is? His most dangerous power is to gain allies. And how easy he's able to do that. Like, the fact that even if they're temporary allies, he is overwhelmingly charismatic. Like, people just follow Luffy just because of the craziness that he does, and other people follow it to, fulfill their own ends, but in the end, they're still following him. I don't know if Oda really said that, but I saw a whole video on it. Well, we'll just leave that in the if bucket for a minute now. But the power of Luffy is the fact that everyone around him notes just how much of an influence he has. Like, the dude has a fleet. Just because he took down Doflamingo, everyone that was at that Coliseum that had a name for themselves, a very pivotal person who had a name for themselves, they all joined and made up a giant fleet that served under Luffy. Even when he said that, I don't really want a fleet. You guys are free to do what you please. And in doing so, they says, well, since you gave us the ability to do as we please, we're going to become part of your fleet anyway. So Luffy is overwhelmingly charismatic. And the fact that he's lucky enough to have people gravitate towards him that are also powerful in their own right. Like, no one he has on his crew is weak. In the name sense, like, everyone has a name for themselves. Everyone is famous. Everyone knows who each other is. Everyone who follows under Luffy is famous for some reason. So the fact that Luffy has pretty much been lucky enough to pull people who are powerful in their own right, like Elizabello, like the king punching guy, like this man can literally, it's literally 1-inch punch man if you give him a couple of hours to charge up. Pretty sure Germa 66 will act as an ally during the final war. Who knows? Maybe the experimentation done on the Vinsmoke kids is not as thorough as Judge may have thought. Maybe they actually would see them as valuable allies. So it would be interesting to see the Germa 66 come back. I want to see the King punch against the Yonko. That would be interesting to just gauge just how powerful the punch is. We've seen the punch being able to clear out everyone in the Colosseum, save for Bartolomeo. We've seen it be able to clear out every piece of Pika that Zoro cut up during their final confrontation in Dressrosa. So it'd be interesting to see just how strong its punch is against someone as durable as Big Mom or Kaido. I hope I've been looking into this camera this entire time, or have I been looking away this whole time? I'm sorry. Let's get back to the story. But Kinemon's wondering, I want to be sure we know what we're doing on the island. From over there? Liar! Forget it, Keen. It's a waste of time trying to set up a plan with them. Then we have Shishilian, one of the captain of the Inuarashi Musketeers, drop in, saying, explain the plan to me. So we have the Minks chiming in, saying, like, we want to hear the plan, so that way we can get in. That way we know what we're doing. Then Hyogoto the Flower jumps in, saying that everyone and every single that he's going to be in charge, that Hyogoto is going to be in charge of all the samurai. That way the 9 scabbards can focus on the battle ahead. And this is where we get to some of the funnier parts of the chapters, because Raizo is literally the key face in this whole chapter. Like his death stare at Kinemon, or the fact that Kinemon had absolutely no idea what he was doing, is just, it is literally the mood. It is literally the mood of this entire chapter. And then, and they're all talking about the plan. So let's just go through I know I said I wasn't going to look through. I keep pulling this thing. Stay still. But let's just go through this whole plan, and then we'll keep going through it. So Onigashima is an island surrounded by mountains. The only way in is through the front gate. And then we have an image, a map image of Onigashima. It is literally Mordor at sea, where the only way in is the gate at the front. The large skull that looms over the island is part of the mountain range, and this castle is inside of it. According to the mansion plans we acquired, there is a rear gate around the back of the castle. We will split the forces in two, taking both mountain paths on left and right, then infiltrate through the rear gate and launch a surprise attack on Kaido as he is intoxicated from the feast. But we all know that for some odd reason, Kaido prefers to be drunk. So I would not be surprised if he's just as capable in a intoxicated state as he is in a sober state. Then again, he does hate to be sober, so we don't see him be sober for too long. Bardot's fruit is very interesting. Can he put hockey on it? Can he make armor? Is it unbreakable? He would be a defensive beast. He would only need something to be strong to be on the offense. That's the thing about Bartolomeo's barriers. We've never seen anything break them. Everything that he's shielded against has never managed to get through. From King Elizabello's punch, to Hack's Fishman punch, to Cavendish's Hakuba side coming through and trying to go up against him, though I feel like that's probably an anime exclusive moment there. But we have yet to see anything actually break Bartolomeo's barriers. And if the encounter that Odin had with the old, the previous user of the Berry no Mi is any indication, anything, not even Odin's strikes was enough to break it. So someone as powerful as Odin was not able to break through the barrier. That's why Orochi didn't die when he went for the, he should have gone for the head. But we've never seen anything break through his barrier at all. So anything under the power of Odin is not breaking his barrier at all. So we don't even know the upper limits of its defensive capabilities. We do know offensively it can be used as a blunt force, which is enough to take down Hack during the Colosseum rounds. But at the same time, we don't know the full capabilities of it. That's the thing. We don't know what strength it is defensively, and we don't know its upper limits as an offensive tactic. So there's that. But we will split the forces into taking both mountain paths on left and right and infiltrate through the rear gate and launch a surprise attack on Kaido as he is intoxicated from the feast. Like I said, don't know if this is going to be completely successful because you're counting on Kaido being intoxicated. You're not thinking about Big Mom. Big Mom is another factor I don't think they've actually thought about. Because they're talking about plans about taking down Kaido, but what is their plans if they take down Kaido and they still have to take down Big Mom as well? There's a lot of preparations that need to be taken into taking down a Yonko. 2 Yonko requires Batman levels of preparation. You need to have backup plans for your backup plans and backup plans for those backup plans. And Denjiro says, I see, and that was the plan you revealed in Kanjiro's presence to deceive him. So what is the real plan? Now, of course, we know that Kinemon is not he's not the brightest, sharpest tool in the shed. As many times as I hear that song at work, I'm surprised that I actually almost forgot the lyrics to that Smash Mouth song for a minute. But since we know he's not the sharpest tool in the shed, he's kind of awestruck because he doesn't know where to go from here as far as planning-wise. And Raizo, with the best face in this chapter, is just staring him down, saying he's overestimated you again. Like I said, Kinemon, Denjiro's interaction with Kinemon is akin to Ainzel Gones' interaction with Demiurge from Overlord. Like, Demiurge knows plans that Ainz doesn't know about and yet still totes it as Ainz's plans. And Ainz has no idea how to explain it to anyone. So he lets Demiurge say it. This is the exact same situation with Denjiro and Kinemon. Denjiro knows of a plan and is able to see through the its pieces and cracks of it all. Yet Kinemon is so oblivious about anything that he's talking about, the intricacies of it, the parts that make sense, and everyone who knows Kinemon can pretty much see that you're just making this up as you go along, aren't you? That's pretty much this whole thing. Chopper needs a new form. Chopper needs a form other than his brain point. And you know what disappoints me? The fact that even in Pirate Warriors 4, we don't see him use too many of his other forms. Karma, imagine if Chopper's monster form will get even more monstery in Full Moon. Here's one thing to consider. What if Chopper learns to awaken his Zoan powers? Because we know it's a possibility for Zoan users. I mean, the Zoan guards of Impel Down are in an awakened state. That's the way they are. So it would stand to reason that given how smart Chopper is, maybe if he learned how to awaken his own powers, he could retain his intelligence. Because as we've seen with the guards from Impel Down, they're not exactly bright, yet they're monstrously strong. Zoro has had a serious lack of shine in this arc aside from getting Enma. Definitely needing a good fight in this arc. I'm thinking Kaido's son or King. See, the only people who seem to have gotten a more pivotal moment in this entire arc is pretty much everyone that was not a Straw Hat. Like, we had a moment where Big Mom just almost one-shots Queen. Then we have the moment where Odin gives Kaido that one scar. Then we have that moment where Kaido one-shots Luffy. We have a lot of moments that are big for people who are not the Straw Hats. So we haven't had too many moments of the Straw Hats having like big shining moments, like that moment where Brook not only copied down the poneglyphs of the road poneglyph at Big Mom's castle, but also managed to blatantly stare down and talk down to Big Mom, calling her a young lady because, well, Brooke is like, what, 80, 90 years old? So he's pretty much the oldest person that anyone in the Straw Hats have faced or have gone up against. Kohagen, I think he will. If Chopper does awaken his devil fruit, wouldn't he become full human? You know, that's actually a good point, because the guards at Impel Down are animal-based, but Chopper's devil fruit is human-based. So what would he do? Would he go the way of Komamura, where he asked to have his power released by his big giant dog leader during the 1,000-year blood arc, and then he was like half human for a long time, but then he lost his powers and turned completely into like a dog at the end of it? Maybe something along those lines. Harnessing his full power, maybe? I don't know. So Kinemon is still wondering about the plan, like what the real plan is, because he doesn't know. Let's go ahead and move on to the next chapter. Thank you. First of all, assuming the enemy is aware of the raid already, and they're all talking about how even when they get there, if they're aware of if the Beast Pirates are aware of the raid, then there's a chance that they'll crush the Red Scabbards. That they'll be the ones to go after first, plus the 3 captains, Straw Hat, Eustace, and Law, respectively. No matter what kind of plan you put together, I can think of approximately 2 idiots who will charge straight in regardless. And of course, he's obviously talking about Kid and Luffy, because they are act first, think secondly. I mean, if Kid losing his arm is any indication, then we know that he's the same rambunctious individual that Luffy is. Mind you, he is a little bit more destructive in that regard. Those idiots will be a useful diversion, so we should send everyone down the side paths as originally planned. However, those soldiers are also a diversion. But of course, we are prepared to fight in such a way that Kinemon's group can make it to the true decisive battle. But how will the Akazaya proceed? There's just one way, the sea, and we see who goes with who in the next chapter, but we'll get to that. If we take the submarine around the back, we can avoid the whirlpools they keep ships at bay, and I can use my power to send you onto the land. And that would be most appreciated, Sir Law, but at the very least, I must be there to lead the troops. That's a good point. And then we should have one of us for each path. I will take the other side of the mountains, and this is Denjiro saying this. You send the rest of them in. And then Shutamaru says, got it, so that the rest of us will be together. And use our full strength against Kaido. I still can't lose his voice for Shutamaru. I've been using that same voice ever since he first got introduced. Perfect. Just as I planned it. We'll go with this strategy. Well done, Keaton. You're so thorough and thoughtful. See? Ainz Demiurge interaction. Just like that. And of course, Raizo has the best face. He's not saying anything. He's just gonna like, boy, you a bald-faced lie. So moving on from there, we haven't seen the Straw Hats during this whole interaction as everyone's discussing the plan. And everyone else sees an explosion in the distance, and they're all like, curses, I didn't warn them about the guards at the Torii Gate. The Torii in front of the island is a small fortress. Many of their soldiers are busy having a party there during the fire festival. If they receive word about our raid, oh no, then we'll be sitting ducks. Luffy! No, was that them? And to no one's surprise, the Straw Hats pretty much go towards the Torii Gate and take down every single person that's there. Mainly, we see the 3 strongest members of the Straw Hat crew, which kind of prompted the idea of a new monster trio, because it showcases Luffy taking down a beast pirate, we see Jinbei taking down a beast pirate, and we see Zoro taking down a beast pirate. Of course, that doesn't end there, because we see Brook take down one, we see Robin with Gigantesco Mono. Then we see Sanji just casually kicking a beast pirate who's much larger than himself to the side while just casually smoking a cigarette. And then we see Frankie, which I didn't notice before, hitting a beast pirate so hard that he craters into a wall. I did not notice that before, but he hits him so hard he craters into a wall. All while Usopp, Nami, and Usopp, Nami, and Chopper are all just chilling back on the ship, just watching, because they don't like to get into direct confrontation very much. I wonder if they'll grow out of that. I mean, I know they're still young. They're in their early 20s. Like, I'm older than all of them, save for Robin and Brooke and Frankie, I believe. Hold on, how old is Frankie? Frankie! How old? Okay, so I'm older than all the Straw Hats, save for Robin, Brooke, and Frankie, and Jinbei. So I'm older than the rest of them. But I just wonder if if Nami, Usopp, and Chopper will kind of get out of that hang back and let everyone else do the fighting sort of phase. Do you think there's a chance that Zoro might open his left eye in this arc at some point? I am waiting on that for so long. And you know what's funny? Like, the thing is, Zoro hasn't had a serious fight since Dressrosa. We all know that the only time he gets directly serious in a fight is when he puts his bandana on. Yet we haven't seen him put his bandana on for anything at all since Wano. Like, period. Even when he's fighting ridiculously strong people, such as Basil Hawkins' Strawman, he didn't put his bandana on. We see that. So I'm wondering, when are we going to see that bandana come back on? Because that's only when he's taking a fight seriously against a strong opponent. Yes, do you think we'll see their chance might open his left eye in this arc at some point? He will. Yes, we never got the story of his eye. We didn't. That's one mystery we don't know about. How did he get the cut over his eye, and why is it closed? And yet the fact that eye is closed, didn't he put it on for Pika and the guy in Fishman Island? Yes, but I'm talking about after Dressrosa. Like, he had the bandana on. Like I said, we haven't seen him put the bandana on since Dressrosa. So since that point, we haven't seen him put it on. But he had it on when he fought Pika. That was Mihawk. He gave him some sort of power. Makes me wonder about the power of Mihawk overall. Like, we've seen, like, if you watch One Piece Stampede, I kind of need to be careful because I don't know if anyone's seen it. There's a moment where Zoro's using his strongest attack, which is the Billionfold World Trichiliocosm, which at the time I could not even try to pronounce. But he used that to attack. I'm just going to say it like that. And it was enough to help him. It was enough to help him marginally, but it didn't help all the way. And Mihawk is there at the same time, and he just takes one casual swipe, and he destroys what Zoro tried to destroy. So even with Zoro's strongest attack, Mihawk is still leagues beyond him. Because during this whole point, like, whenever Zoro has to go through a whole monologue and psych himself up to do like a full-on attack, and the fact that he's using 3 swords to do something that only takes Mihawk 1 sword, Mihawk's strong. Stronger than a lot of people may believe. Strong enough where back when he and Shanks tried to fight, and this is some old history, back when he and Shanks had duels, they were powerful enough and legendary enough for Whitebeard to remember them. Like, I still remember it like it was yesterday. Your duels with Mihawk are legendary. So for Whitebeard to acknowledge something it just tells you just how strong Mihawk is. Now, mind you, these were pretty much fights they had before Shanks lost his arm. So we don't know how strong Shanks has become since then. We don't know how strong Mihawk has become since then, or if he's gotten any stronger. He could be just like Saitama at this point, where he can't get any stronger and he's just beyond strength. Or maybe Mihawk gave him the scar to keep a beast contained, because remember, Zoro does have some sort of demon within him. Are you talking about Ashura? That's just the state of mind that he goes in. That's not actually something that's in him, though. Obviously, Mihawk is strong. He was clashing all the time with Shanks. It's only a matter of time before Zoro gets Conqueror's Haki. I doubt it. I honestly doubt, because we have Luffy for that. We don't need to have multiple people on the Straw Hat crew to have Conqueror's Haki overall. So that's just my idea of it. So I don't think Zoro's gonna ever get Conqueror's Haki, because I feel like that's something that should be exclusive to Luffy on this for the Straw Hat crew. I feel like that should be something that's only exclusive to Luffy, because that's something you have to be born with. That's not something you can just acquire. You literally have to have it at birth. And in some ways, lineage plays a part into it, such as, people who have had Conqueror's Haki sometimes have parents who have Conqueror's Haki as well, like Dragon. It's obvious that he may have it as well, because Garp had said a sentence that said, like, so he inherited it as well. So it stands to believe that Dragon has Conqueror's Haki. Then you have Big Mom. She has it. The most powerful member in her crew, Katakuri, her son, second oldest son, has it. Then you have Kaido. He has it. Which stands to believe, I wonder if his kid has it as well. Now, it's not in every single person. Not in every single person who has Conqueror's Haki in their lineage that it can be confirmed to happen. Like Ace has it and Gold Rogers had it. But, we'll just have to see. But Conqueror's Haki is not something you can just learn. You either have it or you don't. Wano matchup thoughts. We'll have to get to that when we get to the next chapter. Kaido said Kid has Conqueror's Haki too. True, he has that. But the thing is, since they're in the new world, Conqueror's Haki is a lot more prevalent and a lot more common than it was back in the previous islands in the other side of the Grand Line in Paradise. It was so rare that barely anyone knew what it was, but only the world government knew. Going to the new world, everybody and their mama got it. So it's the sea of the strongest. So only the strong can have Conqueror's Haki. You can't have Conqueror's Haki and you weak. That's just not how it works. But the Straw Hat crew pretty much decimates the entire Torii Gate, and they destroy it all. And after that's said and done, they just pretty much destroy all the cannons there. And they're all like, hey, Kinemon, we found the bad guys! Like, even while they were talking about the plan as a whole, they pretty much just destroyed the entire Torii Gate with all the members of the Beast Pirates there. You know what? I feel like I should have these forward so that way these can be seen better. Because I've been having this thing slightly off my back for a while now. The sleeves are sort of short because this is a medium size. I didn't get a large. If I got a large, I would be wearing that full-on suit. But if I got a larger jacket, this would have been nice. Oda constantly draws parallels between the Roger Pirates and Straw Hats. That being said, Rayleigh has Conqueror's Haki despite being the second mate. What's stopping Kaido from one-shotting Luffy again? Been wondering for a while. I would love to see Marco versus King for an awesome air battle. A Phoenix versus a burning Phoenix, a burning blue Phoenix versus a burning black pterodactyl. That's an interesting matchup. Because where's Marco? Marco Polo. We haven't seen him in a while. Also, Conqueror's Haki comes from ambition. Aside from Luffy, Zoro has the biggest ambition of all the Straw Hats. But at the same time, I don't think he's going to get it. Ambition can Pterodon. Sorry, my bad. At the same time, as much as nice as it would be to have Zoro have Conqueror's Haki, it's better for Luffy just to be the only one. Because, I mean, they don't need to have multiple members of Conqueror's Haki users in their crew. Sure, there can be parallels between them and the Roger Pirates, but they're not the Roger Pirates. So that the dynamics of how each individual member has certain abilities, such as Goldie Roger having Conqueror's Hockey and Rayleigh having Conqueror's Hockey. It doesn't necessarily have to match up with the Straw Hats as well. Like, the Straw Hats don't have to match up the same way with the Roger Pirates as well in terms of power strength. Like, Zoro doesn't have to have Conqueror's Hockey in that respect. Who is Zoro going to fight then? I like the idea of Marco versus King, but Zoro needs a strong opponent. Queen would be a weird matchup. Would have to see. But everyone's celebrating, and Zoro pretty much made a beeline to the booze that the Beast Pirates all had. And everyone is awestruck over the fact that they took down all the Beast Pirates there at the Torii Gate. And they all said, let's raise a toast. We appreciate this, Sir Luffy. Your speedy charge has cleared the checkpoint for us to pass. All ships, onward to Onigashima! And everyone is just praising the Straw Hats, which tends to be the norm. Okay, there we go. Do I see any potential deaths in this arc? Orochi. There is no way an individual like him who did all the things he did can live. He brought about the end of literally the most manliest man to ever man in One Piece. Then he brought about the ruination of a once beautiful country. I feel either Orochi has to die or Kaido has to. And if Kaido doesn't die, I honestly don't know. That's the thing. Unlike My Hero Academia, you can't tell who's going to die in One Piece. You can't tell that there's any potential deaths in One Piece. They just come out of nowhere. It's not like you can just gauge it based on the physical state of an individual in a chapter. You just can't tell. So it's kind of hard. But me personally, I would prefer if Orochi died. I don't like him. I don't like the way he behaves. I don't like the way he acts. I don't like him. He killed Yasuye. That alone gives you a death sentence. He helped bring about the end of Odin. I don't like him. That's strike 2. And then the only reason why he took the Shogun seat is because he wants to just destroy Wano. Now, he doesn't want to rule over it. He cares less about the people. Started watching your My Hero volume reading series. I'm enjoying it, and it is making it easier to get through the info I already knew. So thanks, and keep up the great work. Well, thank you, Apocalyptic Gaming. I'm still surprised that people are watching my old videos from when I did it back in 2018 onwards of me reading through One Piece, My Hero Academia volumes. So I'm glad that it's still bringing enjoyment to people. So thank you for the kind words. But Orochi has to die. He has to. He's done far too much for him to be left alive. I don't care how strong he is. I don't care how much he may play a part in the future. His death would mean the absolute freedom of Wano. The defeat of Kaido and the death of Orochi will ensure that Wano is all right. I could care less about Big Mom because she's only there to take down Luffy. And if Luffy leaves Wano, she's going to go after him. She don't care about Wano. She only went to Wano because Luffy was there. She's got one-track mind aside from food. So at the very least, I don't care what happens to Kaido. I don't care what happens to Big Mom. But Orochi has to die. He has to. That's the only way the revenge that Toki spoke can come to pass. That is the only way that Odin can be avenged. Not just him beating him into unconsciousness, not just him being imprisoned. He has to die. He's done too much. He's done too much to too many people. He's ripped the lives from many influential individuals from other people because of his antics. He does not deserve a second chance. He does not deserve a slow and painful demise. Just take him out. I've been saying that for a lot longer than I needed to, but I hope I kind of got my point across. I hope I did. But Luffy says, you think Kaido is going to die this arc? As much as he would like to, I don't know if he will, though. Because this dude cannot. This dude has been resisting every attempt to die. I mean, this is a guy who does suicide for a hobby. It's going to be hard. It's going to be real hard. I agree with everything you just said. Thank you, because it makes sense. Of all the people I want to be taken out for good out of this entire One Piece story and never to be seen again, Orochi is one of them. Because he took Yasuye, who was happy-go-lucky, and that's because he was under the effects of a smile. So he was forced to be that way. But even after being downgraded from being a shogun himself, he still decided to help the people. I think Zoro should have Conqueror's by the end, simply because Luffy also has a different and that he could awaken it to set him even further apart, even if Zoro got it. Still, I'm keeping with my idea that Zoro don't need it. He don't need it. He don't need Conqueror's Haki. I hope the color scheme of the Tobiropo and Onigashima won't look bad. I don't like page 1 and Orochi's look. Kaido is going to end up being Tama's lackey. It'd be wild if Tama made her way there and she was just throwing kibidongos all over the place and just making every single smile user under her command. That would be the biggest wild card I'd never see coming. This little girl who wants to be a ninja suddenly commanding half the roster of Kaido's crew, and they all follow her, all because of some little dumplings. That would be crazy. But not far-fetched, because One Piece in and of itself is crazy. So, Luffy saying, let's win this fight and then we'll have the biggest and best party ever! Once we beat Kaido, I mean. And Orochi and Big Mom and everyone. So, Luffy's pretty much saying to everyone here. Luffy's saying to everyone here, sorry, I was reading the comment. Luffy's saying to everyone here that once all is said and done, then we're going to have the biggest and best party yet. Zoro just needs to keep improving his black sword style and collecting the legendary cursed swords, in my opinion. I imagine if Zoro got Odin's other sword, the Amede no Habakiri, doesn't Momonosuke have that? Or where is that currently being held? Because I know he's not going to get rid of Kuina's sword. He's never going to get rid of Kuina's sword. And he also has the what is it? Shidai Kotetsu? Which one is it? Which Kotetsu is it? I'm not teching, so I can't draw this off of memory. Like, teching is a giant encyclopedia of One Piece knowledge, but I can't remember every single thing. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? What is it? Nidai Kitetsu? No, that's the sword that Luffy took from the Tengu guy. Where is the other one? Oh, Wazamono. Where is the one that... Where is it? Not Shusui. Sandai Kitetsu. That's it. That's the current one that Zoro is using alongside Enma and alongside his blade from Kuina. But I wonder if he'll actually get rid of... If he were to get the Ame no Habakiri, then Shudai would probably be replaced by that. And maybe he'll give the Shudai to the Tengu guy, Tengu Maru. What is it? Tengu Maru? No, Tengu Yama. Yeah, Tengu Yama. Have it there with the Shodai Kitetsu. So, just swap Sandai with Shodai. That's a thought. But back to the chapter, they're all talking about celebrating after the fighting's done. I want Hyogoro to teach the Straw Hats hockey. Can you... Okay, I need to get through this chapter, and then we'll talk about that. We'll come back to that, Karma. We'll come back to that. We're not letting anyone else take Kaido's head. Of course, Killer wants to take down Kaido himself, And Killer is there as well. Of course, since he's under the effect of a smile fruit, he's still laughing, and now the rest of the crew's laughing, and he doesn't like the fact that everyone is laughing with him. And then Kid is all like, I'll cut off Kaido's head and place it on our ship's prow. Hey, Hinata, it's been a while. Oh, how much of this have I missed? About an hour and 5 minutes. I don't care if no one else gets Haki. I just really want to see a full-body armament Haki Brook. That would be epic. He needs an upgrade, too. The only thing that is keeping Brook from being at his fullest potential is his overall demeanor and personality. He's a clown. A straight-up clown. Even more so than Buggy. And that actually hampers his ability to fight at his fullest potential. Because if he behaved in a manner that it was similar to either, Zoro or any other swordsman who takes it seriously, then his swordsmanship would be very, very more refined than it already is. Black Bones Brook. Ooh, I like the sound of that. He'd no longer be Humming Brook. He would be Black Bones Brook. Same could be said for Sanji. Yes, if they both learn to curb that little comedic personality of theirs and refine their fighting style to not be affected by their personalities and improve on it, they'd be far more devastating than they already are now. But let me just get through this chapter and we'll go back to the thoughts of Straw Hats learning Haki, because I brought this up before, but I just like talking about it. Brook was the MPV of the whole Cake Island arc. He deserves more respect. This dude not only managed to get a copy of the rope poneglyph, but he took on Big Mom and lived to tell about it. Even though he lost, he not only lost, but he did it in a spectacular way and even talked down to her. When Ryuma had Brook's sword style, he made it so... Yes, he did. That's because Ryuma was pretty much the strongest swordsman in all of Wano, aside from Odin. So much that his sword and he himself are regarded as national treasures of Wano. So I feel like Brook should get a new sword since he's a swordsman. Well, it would probably be a new one inside of another cane, because that does tend to be his mainstay type of weapon. Kind of like Fujitora. They both use cane swords, which Brook also doubles as a bow for his violin sometimes. Like that one instance where he used his cane sword to actually play on a violin back when they took down Viola. Not Viola, but Giola? That weird chick that brought up Dellinger and had that weird art fruit. I forget her name. But everyone just starts gunning towards Onigashima. Kid wants to get a head start because he wants to take down Kaido and put his head on the front of their ship. Well, if Brook was ever going to get a new sword, no country is better than Wano. Seriously. And you know what would be equally devastating? If he got a sword made out of sea prism stone. I mean, they're in Wano, where sea prism stone comes from. If any of the Straw Hats who use actual physical weapons were to get their weapons coated in it or completely made from it, that would be so much more powerful, especially when they're going up against devil fruit users, because that is their weakness. So what better place to get a new sword made than a place where pretty much the best swords are made? I can tell you, Wano is the Wakanda of One Piece. The best stuff comes from there. But Kid guns towards Onigashima, and Luffy's all like, no, we can't let them beat us there. Jinbei, don't let Jaggy's ship get there first. Can Brook, who has a devil fruit, hold a sea prism sword? Well, that's the thing. He doesn't have to touch the blade, just as long as the handle isn't coated in it. The same can be said for Smoker's Jite. What is it called? Dang it, I'm forgetting the names of all the weapons. What is it called? Nanashaku. The Nanashaku Jite is Smoker's primary weapon. He's able to use that just fine, but That's the only thing. It's just it has a tip of sea prism stone. It's not actually the whole thing. So pretty much, since he's always holding his sword by the handle, the sword itself doesn't actually have to touch Brook at all. As long as he doesn't touch it, that won't apply to him, because it's not like sea prism stone. If you put it into a sword and a devil fruit user grabs it by the handle of the sword, then the sea prism stone goes into the handle and then drains the energy of that user. I don't think it works that way. So he could just get a new cane sword just made in sea prism stone, and he can just use it as normal because he's not touching the actual blade, but he's touching the handle itself. But they all start to move in to take down Onigashima, and come on, let me see the next page. Giola was the name of the one with the art fruit. Thank you, Crown Clown. Giola. What did I say before? Did I say Giola? I said Viola, and then I said Giola. Gioviola. I said something, but I said Giola, but I wasn't sure. Thank you, Crown Clown, for the correction. Thank you. But we cut towards Onigashima, where a big, massive party's going on. It looks like the numbers, which are still in shadow, are there partying. There's more shamisen players. Then there's Orochi being lecturous again. There's Queen asking for more Oshiruko, but Big Mom keeps eating it all. And he's complaining that he's not getting any. Then we have Kaido with the big reveal saying, "Where's my son?" Which raises so many questions. So many theories just based off of this one sentence alone. Where is my son? He should be making an appearance. It's a feast. And then someone says, "I'll look for him." Then another individual says, "Master Kaido, all 6 of the Tobiropo are here." And I'm trying to look because we get the number of the Tobiropo in the next chapter. So I know who that is. 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 And I know who that is. And that. But one person that's missing is a person we see in the next chapter, which kind of explains why that person's so big. So, Master Kaido, all 6 of the Tobiropo are present. Shall I bring them in? Good idea. Better introduce them to Lin. Where has she gone? Big Mom is busy changing into her kimono, sir. That's going to be a whole page by itself of just Big Mom just revealing herself in her Onigashima Wano kimono. The Tobiropo have arrived, send them in. And that's pretty much the end of 977. So onwards to 978. But of course, let me go back to what we were talking about, what you said, Karma, about the Straw Hats learning hockey. Now, I've talked about this before, and the prospects of the Straw Hats learning hockey as a whole. I'm going to tie you down if you keep moving. But the prospects of the Straw Hats learning hockey is very, like, we already have Usopp, who's just awakened observation hockey, though I don't know if he's been training with it ever since he saw Sugar way back in Dressrosa before she tried to turn Law and Luffy into kids when they got to the castle. But the prospects of the Straw Hats learning hockey, I feel like it would help, but I wouldn't put it past Oda to not give them any hockey at all, because a lot of the members of the Straw Hats are already powerful enough, and if you give them hockey, it'll just make them OP. Like, think about it. What if Nico Robin learned hockey, learned to coat her entire body in hockey? That would increase not only her defensive capabilities. Love the coat, jacket, cloak, whatever it's called. Oh, yes, you like it? This is the coat that I got to coincide with this entire review and the reflections and everything. I tried to look my best like a Navy officer. I'm a lot thinner than it appears. It's just the back of the shirt and the way that I'm leaning. But this is the way that I got it. I think it looks pretty nice. I couldn't get like a whole overcoat like to go with it because I don't have that yet. But the prospect of the Straw Hats as a whole learning hockey, like Nico Robin, she would be a powerhouse if she learned it. Like being able to sprout out limbs that can all be coated in hockey and you're just beating up on someone. Can you imagine? Like she's already able to snap people in half with just her regular powers by itself. Can you imagine how devastating that would be if she learned how to use armament haki on her limbs and then snap people? It'd be bad. She'd be breaking everybody, and her Gigantesco Mano would be even more potent. And then you got Brook. He's powerful in his own right. Him learning haki would just like we said, Black Bones Brook learning to use full body haki, looking like a Marine and a CP0 agent at the same time. Clean. Well, thank you. Couldn't get my hair lined up the way I wanted to, but hey, little hair ain't never hurt nobody. So I kind of got the look going down for me. But I say Straw Hats must have haki because they are a small crew. I just want Robin to finally have a fight. She hasn't fought a non-fodder villain since Skypiea. You know what? You're right. The only people who haven't had like a full-on fight by themselves and they were successful in it are Brook, Chopper, Nami. No, Brook, Chopper, Robin. Actually, you know what? I'm going to say Nami as well because she hasn't had one. And Usopp. We haven't seen that in a while. Like where they just straight up... Well, actually, Usopp had a moment in Dressrosa where he defeated Sugar just by using his face alone. Like the weirdest... He defeats people in the weirdest of ways. Like he defeated Perona just by scaring her into unconsciousness with a fake hammer. Then... Chopper beat CP9 member. Yes, when he was out of his mind in Monster Point. He wasn't in control then. And even then, that was Ben when his back was against the wall and he had nowhere else to turn. I want to see Chopper fight someone with full intentions to beat them and actually come out on top. And not just him pull out a wild card in order to get through it the same way. Nami also beat CP9 member. Well, I'm just talking about specifically during the time skip. We know that they've beaten somebody pre-time skip, but I'm specifically talking about beating people post time skip, like after the time skip. So they still have yet to beat anyone really significant since then. But let me see what all has been said. Do you think Sanji's observation fully blossoms to future sight this arc, or was it that level there when he dodged Katakuri's jelly bean? Okay, so that's not future sight, but that is him having an advanced form of observation haki. It's not future sight, but if your observation haki is strong enough, you can kind of see the intentions of people and dodge out of the way. Plus, Sanji has fast reflexes. Like the moment where he kept Oven from killing Pound. He dashed in so fast that no one knew what happened except for Oven. And even then, he couldn't tell what hit him, but he knows someone dashed in and hit him. So Sanji's able to move at literally Quicksilver speeds. So it would stand to believe that if your reflexes are high enough, and you don't even have to have like a full mastery of observation haki. If your reflexes are fast enough and you can sense things, you can move back in a way where you react in enough time. That's just the way I see it. So I don't think it's future sight, but he's just very good. He just has very fast reflexes, and in comparison, in complementing his observation haki, it makes it very hard to hit him. So yeah, that's my thought on it. I remember that fight in Skypiea. She wrecked that guy. Wasn't that where she literally broke that guy's spine in several places, which, you know, should kill the average person? But I keep forgetting that this is One Piece. Nami post time skip beat the most fearsome villain in the story, Fake Luffy. Are you talking about Dinero Black when he was masquerading as the Straw Hats back then? So far, the only Straw Hats to get in fights in Wano are Sanji and Luffy. Really want fights for Zoro, Robin, and Chopper. It'd be nice to see the Straw Hats have their moments where they're facing off against strong opponents so we can see the full extent of their capabilities. Zoro, I would like to see his full extent. I would like to see that eye open and see just how far the teachings of Mihawk took him. I would like to see just how versatile Robin has become. I would like to see just how strong and Chopper has become, even though we haven't seen him in many fights. I would like to see how strong Brook has become. But we just still have to wait because we gotta wait a whole nother week, not just this week, but next week as well, because the next chapter comes out on the 10th. So we still have a lot of time. So a lot of theories about what could possibly happen in this arc overall. Let me see what you guys have been saying so far. Wonder how Bardot managed to get the Berry Berry no Mi in Logtown when its last user was all the way in Wano. It haunts me at night. That's a very good point. Because, well, it doesn't say that he gets it in Logtown. Or is it Logtown? It doesn't necessarily say that he gets it in Logtown. But it still begs the question, how did he come across the fruit as a whole? Because when a devil fruit user dies, their power goes into the nearest fruit that is closest to them. Now, it could either be in close proximity or someplace on the island, or it just goes into circulation to somewhere. So one would think, and I feel like it's not exactly down to a science because we still don't know the full machinations and the full extent and details of how devil fruits work as a whole. So sometimes they'll be right next to a person in a close proximity fruit, or they could just circulate someplace else over the world. Kind of like how when you use a wish of the Dragon Balls, they just go and spread out across the world in random directions. So it could be random on where it appears next. So maybe he came across it in his travels. So I don't think it would have just been limited to just it being at Wano. It just happened to be in a place where he was. So I don't think it would have just been limited in Wano. If the user died in Wano, I don't think it just would have been stuck in Wano. And even if it was, I wonder how it got out of Wano. Because I highly doubt anyone will let such a pivotal fruit out of their country and take it somewhere. But we don't know. What happens if a fruit is destroyed and not eaten? Does that become a new fruit like when a user dies, or is it gone forever? That's the thing. We've never tested what would happen to a fruit if it's destroyed before it's eaten. Maybe it just functions the same way. I mean, fruits are kind of living things in a way. Like they grow, they wither, they die. So maybe in a sense, if the fruit isn't eaten, once the fruit has completely, rotted away or been destroyed, it just passes on to another fruit, just as if it was in a living person. That's a theory. I'm not confirming it. I'm not saying that it's down to a science because we don't know. Oda said that Vegapunk is going to explain it to us, and we still haven't seen Vegapunk. Akainu, tell me when we're going to see Vegapunk. Akainu's not over there. But still, we don't know the full machinations of how devil fruits work, so I can't say it's down to a science on whether that's actually true or not. Nor can we actually know about what happens when a person eats two of them. We hear stories, but we don't know what truly happens to a person if they eat two. What if two people eat one at the same time? You don't know how many times I thought of that over the years. Like, what if a person has a devil fruit and they both eat it at the exact same time? I don't know what'll happen. I feel like it's down to whoever swallows first. That's what I feel. Like I said, we don't know anything about fruits as a whole, and it's still just so new to us. Like, we don't know anything about it. But let's read on, because we're on the last chapter already, and then we'll talk a little bit more after that. So let me go ahead and bring this up. Carrying on for an hour and 24 minutes. Whew. I got nothing but time today because I'm off from work. Off from work. It's so nice. Oh my goodness, it's so nice. being able to have an actual full night's rest. Because I still work, but it's nice. All right, moving on to the next chapter that I clearly went too far in. Onwards to the most recent chapter, 978, the Tobiropo. Of course, we have Law dropping in. I'm at work. I was just at mine because I work overnights. So I'm happy to be home. But you just be safe while you're at work, Apocalyptic Gaming. You be extremely safe. Don't touch your face. Make sure you wash your hands. And if you see someone cuffing, report them. Tekken made a video about two people eating one Denver at the same time. You should check it out. Oh, he did? I might have to watch that because I've always wondered about that concept. So Law goes underwater to enact his side of the plan, and he takes Kawamatsu, Shutenmaru, Raizo, and Kiku along with him. And the rest of the crew, everyone else just makes their way towards the opening of Onigashima itself. And then we have this image where it shows the minks, it shows the straw hats, it shows the samurai, and it shows Kinemon and Denjiro all standing together in a big, massive one-cut shot. Like, you know they're going to do in an anime where it's just going to it's going to show minks, boom. It's going to show the straw hats, boom. You know that doom sound that always goes with them switching people's faces. So it's going to show the minks, straw hats, the samurai, and Kinemon and Denjiro there, saying, I trust you kept your skills sharp, combat skills in shape, Denjiro. If I hadn't, there would be no meaning to living the last 20 years. And we've already seen just how capable Denjiro is. Like, with one slice of his sword, he's able to slice a ship completely in half, just casually. Sorry for the long wait. Let's end it now. And we have Kid and Luffy both propelling forward on the Sunny as they make their way into Onigashima, which is a ginormous garden of yokai motifs. And right here, here's the thing. I cannot tell. Hold on, let me read this real quick. I hope Blackbeard and Moria come to Wano just so Nightmare Luffy could come back and utilize that giant katana next to the Onigashima skull. It's funny how you mention this because I'm staring at this panel right now. But I don't know if Nightmare Luffy is going to become a thing again because they only did that because they had 100 shadows to stuff into Luffy. And I don't know how well that's going to work, seeing as how they're more than likely going to be in. Well, I don't know, because we've never seen Onigashima in anything other than perpetual thunderclouds and dark, shadowy areas. So I don't know how that would really work. But that's just my thought. I don't think we're going to see Nightmare Luffy return because what would be the purpose? I mean, we have Gear 4th now. He now has a big form that's more powerful than Nightmare Luffy. So I don't think we need Nightmare Luffy to return in that respect just because Moria and Blackbeard show up. But that's just my thoughts. Everyone has their own thoughts on it. But here's one thing that kind of confused me a little bit about Onigashima and when we come into the entranceway. And what does Blackbeard want to do? That's the thing. We don't know what Blackbeard's next move is. Like, we've seen him at Honey Bee Island or Bee Island or whichever island it is. Or Beehive Island. I forget. It's a bee-related island. The previous island that the Rocks Pirates used to be at. But we don't know what his true plan is. Like, we see Moria show up. We know Absalom is dead. And Shiryu now has his Devil Fruit. Katarina Devon now has a Ninetales where she can basically do what Bon Clay does, but doesn't have to touch anyone in order to clone herself, in order to make herself look like somebody. So that's actually a more powerful version of Devil Fruits. You see, ever since we got into the time skip, we're starting to see more powerful versions of a Devil Fruit. Like the Gum Gum Fruit has the much more powerful Mochi Mochi no Mi. Then we have the Clone Fruit has the much more powerful Ninetales Dog Fruit, which pretty much does the same thing that Clone Fruit does, except you don't have to touch someone in order to look like them. You can just look like them at will. So we're seeing a lot of different types of Devil Fruits that have superior versions. But one thing that kind of confused me about Onigashima when we first showed up here in this panel is the fact of whether or not this skull belonged to somebody or if it's part of the mountain range. That Nine Tails isn't as good as Naruto's Nine Tails. Of course it isn't. Nothing will be as powerful in One Piece as Nine Tails, as Kurama. Like, dude can just shoot out nukes casually. I don't know anyone that can kind of do that in One Piece. The only person that can do that relatively close is Kizaru. Do you think Kaido is an Oni with a dragon fruit or a dragon with an Oni fruit? I feel like he's a human with a dragon fruit. Because I know a lot of people would like for him to have an Oni-based devil fruit. But I honestly feel like he's just an abnormal human that has the power of a giant dragon devil fruit. So I feel like he's human. I honestly feel like he's human. Because he bleeds like one. Like from that one panel with Odin, he clearly bleeds like one. Thanks for finding the answer to my question. I was wondering which is more powerful, Gear 4th or Nightmare. Oh, Gear 4th is powerful by a ginormous margin. Because could the giant skull belong to one of Oars' race? Possibly, because it has... Oh, hold on. Okay, bring up Oars, bring up Little Oars Jr. Yo, this could be a member of their race because the horns are the same shape. The exact same shape. And if there is, then it means that whoever the skull belonged to was bigger than Oars. Yo, the horns are the same. The horns are the same. Yo, this skull might have belonged to someone of Oars' race. Because the horns they're not shaped like Kaido's horns where they slope out. Did I say something smart? Yes, you did, Grant. Yes, you did. Because now my mind is thinking that this belonged to possibly the biggest member of Oars' race. Bigger than Oars. How tall is he? How tall is he? 219 feet tall. Whoever owned this skull was bigger than Oars. Because the skull itself dwarfs all the ships. The skull's size dwarfs all the ships. Like, you can fit the biggest ship that the Straw Hats are sailing on and the Samurai are sailing on into the nose, the cranial cavity. You can easily fit two of the ships inside that skull. And I'm saying that because they're not even remotely close. You could basically fit all the ships inside of the skull, like inside the eye cavity. Maybe Oars' dad or mom, possibly. But whoever this skull belonged to, it belonged to one of Oars' race. I'm saying that right now. Thank you, Grant, for putting that idea in my head. No. Thank you, Grant, for putting that idea in my head. That was your idea. All credit goes to Grant Dolman for this. Thank you, because now I'm never going to get that out of my head, and I'm just going to think that, wow, because the skull is ginormous. If we were to compare the size, Oars fits in the skull of this. Oars himself fits in the skull. That's how big the skull is. And even then, the skull is still bigger than him. I can't unsee that now. And you know what would be funny? If it turns out that it's just the skull-shaped mountain range. If it turns out like that, I'm going to be disappointed. But the way the horns are shaped, I don't know why I didn't think of this before. The way the horns are shaped are just like that of Oars and Oars Jr. Wow, I never thought of it. But going back to the whole aesthetic of Onigashima, as they're floating into the port of it, it is a massive area. Everything is huge. like all the statues. There's a giant sword off in the distance that clearly isn't just there for decoration. It belonged to someone that huge. But everything is giant here. The statues are huge. There's a lot of yokai, Japanese demon oni motifs around this entire area, aside from the occasional cherry blossoms that happen to be there as well. But it also looks to be snow covered as well. So this is a snow covered Onigashima. I'm going to need me some water after this. But everyone's partying, so they're not really paying attention. It seems they haven't given a single thought to the possibility of enemy attack. That means Kanjiro hasn't reported in yet. Our sneak attack is still possible. Now here comes the question that someone brought up to me during my reaction of this chapter. How is it that Kanjiro has not reported in there? How is it that he hasn't reported in yet? He had a head start. So how is it that he did not say anything to prepare to let Orochi know, or prepare any of the beast pirates of telling them that all the samurai, the minks, and all the pirates were heading there to fight? Why isn't he there? Well, Grant, you still deserve praise for putting the idea in our heads, and because of that, we are never going to forget it. So I'm eternally grateful for enlightening me to new theories. But the thing is, why hasn't Kanjiro reported into Orochi yet? Because if he had a head start, he should have been there to tell them and to let them know that, hey, everyone's here, they're showing up. He remembers all the time he had with the scabbard, so he didn't warn Orochi. But wasn't that all just an act, though? His role was just to behave like a friend to them. And since he came from pretty much a family of actors, that was literally the one purpose that Orochi gave him. And now that his role's been complete, who knows what else he's going to do? But at the same time, if he's still loyal to Orochi at this point, why hasn't he reported in? And why hasn't he been seen in Onigashima? Because he's not seen in Onigashima he's not seen in this whole chapter at all. So it makes one wonder, what is he actually doing? Maybe Momonosuke told him something. Maybe. But let's go ahead and continue on with this chapter. As they're sailing in, some guards kind of notice them, but they're all just stone drunk. And of course, Usopp, with the quick shot, knocks him out with some green star sweetgrass. And as they disembark, as all the samurai disembark, Luffy notices that all their ships start to capsize, which is when Kinemon says, "We sink them before we go. On this mission, we need no return ships." So, like I said many times during my reaction of this chapter when it first released, this is a one-way trip for every single samurai that is going up against Orochi and Kaido. They don't plan on leaving alive. Otherwise, they wouldn't have gotten rid of the ships. Nah, Momo took him out, so he'd been dealt with. That's why. If Momo took out Kanjiro, then that boy been holding out. Is the skull bigger than San Juan Wolf, who is a giant and has a devil fruit that allows him to increase his size? I mean, that's kind of a good point, because we don't know the full extent of San Juan Wolf's giant devil fruit, or what the upper limits are to how far he can grow. So it still remains, because we've seen him get as large as Marineford and hide behind it. But during the Marineford War, he was partially hidden behind it. And even then, he could go in the water. Wow, I just noticed something. He can move in the water just fine, because there's no ship that can carry San Juan Wolf because he's too big. He's the only devil fruit user that can actually move through the water just fine, when you think about it. Because how else is he getting to all these places with the Blackbeard pirates? This dude is walking in the ocean, and he has a devil fruit power. How have I not noticed this? Because remember back when they all stopped on a burning island and they captured Jewelry Bonnie, the Blackbeard pirates, I mean. San Juan Wolf is just sitting out in the ocean a distance away from them. And as soon as they see that a Navy ship is coming up, but they ditch the island because Akainu's there, they all get away just fine. Including San Juan Wolf, who should not be able to move in the water because he has a devil fruit power. How? I'm confused. He's the only one. Hold on, what are you guys talking about? One of the giant straw hat goals on the skull. You mean the one from Marishwa? I don't know. I don't think it's big enough. Now, Kanjiro isn't dead yet. That would destroy the whole reveal, in my honest opinion. Yeah, I'm convinced the giant straw hat belongs to Joy Boy. What is it about the straw hat that is so significant that something so peasantry would be a revered national treasure of literally the most powerful individuals in the world? Kind of hope he is dead and kind of wants to see what Luffy can do. Saying he deserves it. I think Hyogoro is going to die during this battle. That would be sad. It would be sad. I kind of would like for him to live on since he lost his wife. Way back when during the events of Odin's execution. What if the skull is Joy Boy? We don't know what he looks like. I don't really think Nightmare Luffy would happen again, but wouldn't it be way stronger now than it was before? It would just be stacked onto the current Luffy. It would be, but there's still no use for it. Because that strength was only used to combat Oars and combat Moria, who, in retrospect, in light of the strength that Luffy and the rest of the crew now, still would be weak compared to his Gear 4th forms. But, as I was saying, Hyogoro needs to see Kaido and Orochi die defeated. I just want to know if the giant katana would be used and who's big enough or strong enough. Can you imagine San Juan Wolf sprinting over the water like Brook? That man is a literal giant. Do you want something that huge sprinting across the ocean at Brookneck speeds? Brookneck, not breakneck, Brookneck speeds, hurtling towards you. The dude could turn into a battering ram because of that. Kid is going to lift it to cut Kaido's arm. You know what? That could make a lot of sense due to Kid's ability to manipulate metal, since he is One Piece's Magneto. But going back to the chapter, I'm going to keep going through this, and then we'll talk a little bit more afterwards. How long have I been going on for? Not too long. It's not too bad. Sorry, I'm just checking the time there. But the samurai are pretty much came to the point where we're all going. This is a one-way trip. We either fight or we die. We can hide a few ships, just disembark and don't worry. So Jinbei says that, and as they notice, and Brook notices that they're sinking all their ships, and Brook says, I suppose this speaks to how serious these samurai are. Don't get spotted, every last one is utterly resolute. They will win or die. Nothing less will suffice when challenging the emperors of the sea. So, as they run across the bridge, Chopper notices that he sees a bunch of beast pirates on the other side. But it turns out that this is just the effects of Kinemon's Devil Fruit that allows a person to run through like a little bit of a overhang, run through it, and they dress up in the clothing of his choice, which is called Keen's Clothing Company, part of his Gargar fruit. Everyone wonder who caught San Juan Wolf? That is a question for the ages. And a bigger question is, Impel Down, the opening is not huge. So how did they get him down to level 6? So many questions on how he got down to level 6 and how he got out of level 6. There's just so many questions about that big giant man that we don't know. You know what? I'm gonna look up San Juan Wolf. just to see how tall he is. San Wolfie. I love his voice. He just sounds like a bit out of it too. Like, oh no, they found me. Oh, y'all know my name. Well, I'll be. I love his voice. Legends say that Impel Down was built around San Juan Wolf. So they kept him underwater during its construction and built the entire prison around him. How many years did he have to stay down there for Impel Down to be built then? Is an enormous giant known as Colossal Battleship for his size and was originally one of the legendary criminals who was given a life sentence in level 6 of Impel Down. As his crimes were so atrocious, they had to effectively be erased from history itself. Initially mentioned by Emporio Ivankov. Okay, we'll read more on San Juan Wolf as when we get near the end, because I kind of want to learn more about him. Maybe his fruit allows him to shrink as well as grow. Isn't that the power? There's a power like that already, though I think that's kind of non-canon. By what's her face, the giant chick, Lily Estomac. What is her name? Lily something. So I watched the sand wall. He said his legs are tired, but aside from that, nothing about him being okay in water. Watched a clip of San Juan Wolf in the water. He says his legs are tired, but aside from that, nothing about him being okay in water. So what you're saying that there's nothing that points to him being fine, just moving fine in water. At the same time, it makes you wonder just how he's able to move back and forth anywhere if he can't actually fit on a ship. I'll find it, but there's a non-canon devil fruit user that can actually shrink down her size. But let's get back to the chapter because we're getting through it. We're almost done. We are almost done. So everyone changes into an outfit that is akin to that of the Beast Pirates. Nothing that says why he is okay in water. Sorry for my wording. Oh, that's fine. That's fine. But the thing is, it still leaves the question, just how is he getting about anywhere? If he has to go to another island, I don't think they don't have a ship that can carry him because he's massive. So how is he getting back and forth anywhere? He's literally a giant. And the fact that he can change his size and grow, it just makes me question, how is he able to be in water and move around so easily? There's just so many questions about this guy that makes me wonder. But the Straw Hats get decked out in the Beast Pirate's garb, and Kinemo notes that if you get injured or you remove anything, you'll go back to your regular clothes. So don't get spotted, avoid any unnecessary conflicts as we make our way to the place of the ultimate battle. So at that point, that's the end of us seeing the rest of the samurai or the Straw Hats, because then we got to the Beast Pirates, who are having a massive rave, a massive celebration, a massive festival with Queen being the MC, Scratchman Apu being the DJ. Got a lot of people playing different instruments. Got a lot of different Beast Pirates. Queen is MCing, and everyone's enjoying themselves. There's so many gifters. Let's see how many. Can we see any new gifters? I see a giraffe gifter. I see what looks to be like a wolf gifter. There's numerous pirates. There's like a giant pirate up there. Lily was a filler character. She has a shrink power. Yes. That's the filler person that I was referencing, because she can shrink. She can shrink her size. In theory, if he got big enough, couldn't San Juan Wolf just step from island to island? He could. Or maybe he could just make himself so big that he just functions like Zunisha, like Zoe, and just moves just casually through the water, so that the water itself doesn't reach to a point where it can actually start to affect his body, like, too badly. So Queen is emceeing everybody. Hopefully I'm still in view of the camera. Hopefully I am. Pardon me if I'm not. He's saying, "Let me hear you, waiters. Those awaiting smile fruits." Then we pleasures. Those who lost the bet and laughed. They are the ones who tried to eat smiles and didn't get the special effects and only got the side effects and now are stuck in a permanent smile for the rest of their natural days. Then we have the gifters. Those who actually have powers. So there's a beast pirate that comes out of the neck of a giraffe, like his whole body comes out of the neck part of the giraffe. There's a wolf gifter. There's a female pirate that has a giant gorilla coming out of her back, whole torso of a full-on gorilla. So it literally looks like a stand. No, not a stand. It looks like Ansem's Heartless. Like when it's behind him and it's just a torso with arms. That's basically what this gorilla gifter chick looks like. Just has it behind her this whole time, except she can't use her arms in any way because they're inside the torso of this gorilla. And then we have another one that looks to be a part of a rhino, and underneath this speech bubble that says gifters, there appears to be like either a lobster claw or a crab claw. So that's another gifter that's hidden from sight from us right there. And then they're screaming for the headliners. We see Hold'em. We see another chick who has more arms on her back. So there's more than one type, more than one of the same type of devil fruit users, because those look like gorilla arms as well, but she just has arms. Kyushu out here making JoJo references like a degenerate. Yeah. Luckily, I actually know enough about JoJo where I can actually make JoJo references. Because I was making JoJo references at one point and I had never watched the show. Now I can make them being fully knowledgeable of the show. But we see Hold'em here. We see another person here that's got like a Viking motif. Has got a full-on beard. Then we see another gorilla gifter chick there for the headliners, the chosen gifters. And then he calls on the Tobiropo, and they say absolutely nothing. And he starts, then he calls on the numbers, and of course, obviously, we don't get to see the numbers. We just see the outside of Onigashima where they're all laughing in weird ways. Ha-cha-cha-cha! Ha-cha-cha-cha-cha! Then we have Goki, 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 and then Kunyunyu, Kunyunyu, and they got like different weird laughs. I tell you, it's crazy. Now let's go to Orochi's forces. First up, the elite samurai Mimawari Gumi, and then we have the Onewabanshu. And of course, Orochi's reveling in people praising him and his powers. And then he says, "We got a special guest. We got some special guests in the house tonight. Big Mom's children," which lets us know that the Charlotte children have made it to Onigashima. How things are going to go over once they find out that Big Mom and Kato have joined forces, who's to say? We don't know. And then we cut to the Tobiropo, where one of them, who I got to talk about because she has absolutely no chill whatsoever. "Stupid queen, he's ever so obnoxious. He just called the Tobiropo arrogant punks. Why, the nerve of that beastly man." But I think Sanmon Wolf is still smaller than Zunisha. Oda said that if Zunisha's whole body was out of the water, his head will literally touch the moon. I wonder what Smoothie, Oven, and Daifuku are going to do in Wano. Oven's with them? I didn't see them on this. Yeah, he's on the ship. Or was that Daifuku on the ship? Is Oven on the ship? I can't tell. I have to look back on it.
"He just called the Tobiropo arrogant punks. Why, the nerve of that beastly man. The nerve of that beastly man."
Is this another one of your weird trends? Stop talking like that. It's embarrassing. "Ah, Pepe, sweetie, you don't need to be ashamed." You know, that's the new voice I'm going to give to one of the Tobiropo now. "Oh, Pepe, sweetie, you don't need to be ashamed." Don't call me that. I'm just spitballing. But if Queen were to die, say tonight, who would be the new lead performer, you think? I'm guessing you think it's yourself. I have no interest. If you're dropping out as a candidate, that'd be great. Pepe can't hack it either way. You're dropping out too, right? What? And of course, we get a full panel of the Tobiropo. We have Ulti,
Hey, Sasaki, if you insult my Pei one more time, I'll break you in two.
And she's calling Page 1 Pei. Page 1 has a nickname. It's only a matter of time before the Ivankov Queen fan art starts to surface. It's a good thing I don't look for that type of stuff, because there's only so much brain space I have, and I always remembered the weird stuff. I don't want that to be one of them. I said, stop it, sis. And of course, we got Page 1 here in human form. Of course, his face is still covered up. And he's actually more... And one thing I noticed about this with Page 1 is he's so much... In his Zoan form, he's like boisterous and destructive. But here, he's just sitting all quietly and holed up. Like, he's got his legs crossed up and everything, and he's trying to act all reserved, like he's shy in human form, but he's loud in Zoan form. And then we have Who's Who. You little brat, so annoying with your screeching. That's the voice I'm going to give him from now on. Then we have Braca Maria, who was not present in the feat being shown walking into being introduced, because she is a massive woman. We don't know if she's a giant, and we don't know if she's a mermaid. We don't know what she is, but we do know that she's massive, though. You little brats are so annoying with your screeching. Oh, I love Uli when she'll snap at anyone. Why did he call us here? Just to make us wait? And that's DS Drake saying that? They said it's urgent, and when Kaido says urgent, it usually means one thing. You know what? Maybe I'll give him what is it, Scottish or Irish? They said it's urgent, and when Kaido says urgent, it usually means one thing. I gotta work on that voice, sorry. But that's Sasaki, a fishman of the group. And they all have horn motifs akin to those who serve under Kaido. But the one thing that really sets everyone off in utter shock is the fact that Ulti has no chill when she says, another family issue then? Is Kaido stupid or something? Mind you, no one ever speaks ill of Kaido. Ever. Ulti, so far, is the only person to just outwardly voice her opinion of how stupid she thinks Kaido is. And everyone, Page 1, Who's Who. If I fail a Scottish accent one more time, if I fail a Scottish accent one more time, Kishi, I'm going to get mad. Like, all right, I got it, don't worry. They said it's urgent, and when Kaido says urgent, it usually means one thing. I'll keep trying to refine it a little bit more, but hopefully I get it in the right direction. Can I do a Jamaican accent? I'll try it. I'll try it a little bit later. But the one thing that sets everyone off is just how no chill Ulti is when she says that is it another family issue then? Is Kaido stupid or something? Like I said, no one speaks ill of Kaido. No one, because they fear him. But Ulti, who is literally part of the top echelon of all the Beast Pirates, she just says, like, did he call us here for another family issue? Is this man stupid? What's going on? And everyone, Page 1, Who's Who, Black Maria, Drake, and Sasaki all look at her like, did you just say that? You can't say that! You can't say that. We're on national television. You can't say that. You can't say that live. You don't know what's going on. But here's another thing, and thank you for pointing it out, Karma. Another family issue. Family issue? What type of family issue? And for her to say another, it must mean that something else has gone down in the Kaido family. So it makes you wonder just how dysfunctional is Kaido and his family. Because we all know for a fact that he doesn't view his crew as family like Whitebeard does. So obviously he and his son must not get along. Do we yet know how old Kaido's son is? I mean, he could be the same age as Momo for all we know. We don't know. We don't know anything about Kaido's son except the fact that Kaido has a son. We don't know who the mama is. We don't know we don't know what type of individual Kaido's son actually is. We don't know. Imagine if One Piece characters knew they were in a manga anime. I feel like the one person that would break the fourth wall the most would probably be Ivankov. He seems the type that would take advantage of that fact and just revel in the fact that he's a character and say like, "Oh, I know what happens to you in the next chapter." What do you mean? Oh, nothing. But yeah. But when it comes to family, we don't know anything about Kaido's son except that he has one. We don't know what the son is like. We don't know who the mother is. We don't know how strong the son is, or even if he's anything like his father. Like, I've thrown out numerous theories on what type of person his son would be. I could see Robin breaking the fourth wall. She seems like the type as well, especially after the time skip. She's done a lot more things that have gone against her character ever since the pre-time skip. Because she used to be serious and stoic, morbid, but stoic and serious. Now, in the time skip, she's had numerous face faults and numerous moments where she behaves just like a typical Straw Hat. Like, we've seen the faces she makes, like the fact that she saw Luffy get captured, the neck folds. Then we see her, Brook, breaking the fourth wall. Brook, I can see. Brook, Robin, and Ivankov. They make the most sense because they'd have the most fun with it. But seeing Robin's overall mental, I wouldn't say mental fortitude, but emotional fortitude kind of wear down after being around the Straw Hats for so long, to the point where she's making face faults just like everyone else. Like Dressrosa, she had a face fault. I hope Kaido's son is an adult. If he was a kid, it would be weird that he isn't always with Kaido or that they can't find him. I kind of want Kaido's son to be an older adult as well. But how old, I don't know. Katakuri's age, I don't know. But maybe close to Katakuri in power, though. Because here's a theory that I put together, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people may be throwing around there, that Big Mom could be the mother of Kaido's son, and that could be the lifelong debt that she says that he owes her. So a union between those two ridiculously strong pirates, it's scary. Because we don't know who Katakuri's father is. Though some people are pointing that Kaido may be the father because of how similar they are. Like, they got massive upper bodies and overly long legs. Like, back in the flashback when Kaido was younger, he had overly long legs. Like, he literally looks like he skipped leg day. Back then, back when Odin was still alive. And Katakuri has the same type of legs as well. But there's no confirmation on this. So it'd be interesting to see if it does prove true that Big Mom and Kaido had a child together. It'd be interesting to see just how strong this child's strength would be compared to Katakuri's. Because knowing Kaido like I know him, he doesn't like anybody weak. So I would imagine he would have groomed his son. Is Katakuri part of triplets? Yes, he's a triplet of himself, Daifuku, and Oven. They were all born on the same day. But with Kaido being the type of person he is, I highly doubt he would allow his son to be weak, because he doesn't like anybody weak. He literally looks for strong people to recruit into his crew. And like Shutenmaru, for example, he knew how powerful Shutenmaru was, and he tried to recruit him into his crew when he came down into Ebisu Town. Not Ebisu Town, it was another town. And tried to recruit him in his dragon form many chapters ago. So I'd imagine if Kaido has a son, his son has to be strong. He has to be. It'll throw me for a loop if Kaido's son is literally the opposite of Kaido. And it kind of, you know what? It actually doesn't sound too much of a far-fetch, because maybe Kaido, if his son was weaker, or just flat out weak overall, literally the pre-strong Sanji of his family, then I would stand to believe that he never lets his son go anywhere because he doesn't want to be seen with him, because he sees him as weak, and that would ruin his image. That's one theory. Let me see what you guys have been saying. When Luffy met Kobe, he said he needed to find at least 10 people for his crew, so there should be 11, including him. That being said, who do you think the 11th and final member could be? Kaido's son for having a Tyrannosaurus Rex devil fruit. Now we got an Allosaurus for Drake, and that's powerful, but we haven't seen the T-Rex one. And since he likes to have devil fruit power users that are animal based, it would stand to reason that he would have another dinosaur. But then again, I mean, we have so many dinosaur users in the Beast Pirates already. We have enough Zone users. So I feel like Kaido's son, if he even has a devil fruit at all, I figured it'd be probably go the way of a mythical type, maybe. Because if Kaido has a mythical type, I figured he would like to have his son to have a mythical type as well, then make him powerful. Then we go to the power gauging of whether or not his son could be more powerful than Katakuri. There's so many theories going on right now. Just because Luffy said he needs 10 people for his crew doesn't necessarily mean he's the only one. He's only going to have 10 or 11 members. He could have more. I mean, I don't take what he said literally. He could just say, 10 to start out. I mean, technically, he has a lot more people in his crew, but they're a part of a separate fleet under his name. Like, what is it, 5,000 strong? So Luffy has a lot more than 10 people aiding his crew, so to speak. But there's just so much that can be thought about Kaido's son, about what type of person he is. Is he an introvert? Is he like his father? Is he the opposite of his father? Is he a weakling? Is he a nerd? Is he literally the opposite of whatever makes Kaido intimidating? And that's why no one ever sees him. Or is he literally the pinnacle of training and perfection that he actually surpasses Katakuri in terms of the most powerful individual that Luffy may face, aside from Kaido and Big Mom themselves? Who knows? I don't. I'm just throwing it out there. Well, Vivi is considered as an honorary member of the Straw Hats. Of course she is. They're friends. Friends tend to be honorary members. Cared for Straw Hat. I'm going to keep seeing that until the day it happens or the day it doesn't happen. And even if it doesn't happen, we're going to keep seeing it everywhere. But this is the end of chapter 978, ladies and gentlemen. This concludes all the chapters for April. I'm done. Whew. Takes a lot of effort to go through all of those, but this was 2 hours well spent. Wow, I didn't know how much time had passed. Time flies when you're having fun. My God, I love doing this. But that's it for the chapters. I don't need to reflect on anything. I'll leave the Library of Ohara type information for the experts themselves. Okay, let me see what you guys have been saying. There's a question I've been wondering for a while, and it has nothing to do with this arc, but I've been curious about it. By all means, go ahead and ask it. I want Kaido's son to be one of the most strongest of Kaido's crew. Also, I want him to be a bored but strong type of guy. So you want him to be nonchalant but overpowered, like Kizaru. It'd be interesting. I'm going to keep pulling this thing over. Let's face it, the shoulders are not going to stay where they are. My sense of justice is too weak for my coat to stay right where it is. But that's there's just so many theories about who Kaido's son could be and how strong he could be. Because we don't know of a right-hand man. We don't know if Kaido has a right-hand man at all. We don't know if Big Mom has a right-hand man, but we do know the second most powerful person under Big Mom, which is Katakuri. We don't know the second most powerful person under Kaido. Like, we've seen abilities of both Queen and King and Jack, but we don't know who falls into the line of the second strongest beast pirate. So it could be his son for all we know. In the very first filler arc of the anime, Luffy talked to the bird dragon, yet it was well before the manga even introduced the hearing the voice of all things, so did Oda tell them for filler arc? A weak sense of justice. Akainu is coming for me. He don't know where I stay. I'm hidden. I think the best matchup for Zoro this arc will be Kaido's son. I'd like to see an aerial battle with Sanji and King, and Jinbei take on Queen or Jack. You know, it's funny, we don't see Jack here at Onigashima as well. He's not there. So where is he? We don't see King either. So where are they? Queen is emceeing and Scratchman is overseeing the music, but we don't see any of King or Jack. So where are they? Questions. But overall, let me just go ahead and give my whole consensus. Let me just give my whole consensus on all these chapters as a whole. I thought that were great. First, we get the reintroduction of Jinbei, fully announcing himself as the helmsman of the Straw Hat crew. Then we have the moment where they make their way to Onigashima. Please tell me Jack isn't Kaido's son, because that would be disappointing. I doubt it. I doubt it. I absolutely doubt it. There is absolutely no way. Jack is not Kaido's son. He's not. He's not. He's not. He's not. But I thought all these chapters as a whole were very good. Like, we got to see more of the Straw Hats. We finally got all the Straw Hats all together. Then they're explaining the plan of how they're getting to Onigashima and going to take down Kaido and everyone else, and they're going to have the biggest parties out there. And then we see the Tobiropo arrive, and we see all of them. Of course, not everyone thinks highly of their commanding officer or their commanding general of the Beast Pirates. Like, Ulti is literally the only person with absolutely no chill and could not care less what anyone thinks of her or what she says. Even Kaido, who she serves under. Of course, everyone else. You have a lightsaber, Thor's Mjolnir, and Infinity Gauntlet in your room. Am I a god? No, I am just a man who just looks to entertain people. Still waiting on the numbers. Exactly. We keep seeing them shrouded in shadow, and then when Queen points to them and says, "Numbers, let me hear ya!" It cuts to the outside of Onigashima from a distance where we just see the effects of them laughing. We just see the speech bubbles of them laughing in the background. So we're still denied seeing what the numbers actually are. So we have no idea. So are Page One and Ulti siblings or not? I feel it's more of an honorific type of title more than them actually being siblings. Like, she's like a, they're like she's a Ulti One-san, in a way. It's like that. Like, they know each other, but they're not. I don't think they're related in any way. I just feel like they just see themselves that way. Like, big sis Ulti, you know how they do it in anime and manga. So I figured that's how they are. But we got the thought of Kaido's son lingering in the background. Kanjuro's out there with Momonosuke for some reason, even though he hasn't reported in to Orochi or anyone else. All the Big Mom's kids are there. They've made it to Onigashima, and we have yet to see how they're going to react to the fact that Big Mom is joining up with another Yonko. Cannot speak. I'm almost done. Another Yonko in a big alliance to take over the world, which was pretty much Roxy Zebek's goal. If you think about it, way back when, that was Roxy Zebek's goal, was to take over the world and have the most powerful crew in the entire world. Are CP0 still in Wano? I feel that they are. There's no way that the world government is just going to tell CP0 to pull out from Wano. They still keep them there to keep tabs on everything. So the members, they're still there. I feel like they are, because it would make sense, because, I mean, why wouldn't they stay? There's so much development going on. So I just think it's adorable whether they were or not, more than likely. But yes, there's so much going on. The Tobiropo have been introduced. We got a fish man. We got a giant woman. And we don't know if she's a mermaid or just a giant human, but she's clearly like in the panel that shows her. I can't tell if she's wet or sweating, but it looks like she's wet. So maybe she's like a fish person of some kind, or maybe she's just chilling out in the sauna and just likes. Gotta be careful how I say this. And just likes to. I can't say it. She just likes to be in water. There were two other ways I could say that, and they both sounded wrong. I got to be careful because people will catch me. But overall, I thought all these chapters, even though we got 3 of them this entire month, I thought they were good. And since we're entering into May, we're pretty much in the end game of Wano now. We're at the point of no return. Will Drake help the Straw Hats this arc? We know he's a double agent. Well, we do know he's a double agent, but I don't know if he's actively going to aid them. If he does it, he has to do it in a way that allows him to remain loyal in the eyes of both the Tobiropo and Kaido and not compromise his position. So there's still that whole thing to go by. So only time will tell. But like I said, we're in the end game of Wano now. We're at the final destination, the last castle of Mario, the final boss, the final destination before the big boss battle. I don't know where we're going to go from here. Or afterwards. I don't know if we're going to go back to Reverie and find out what happens. I don't know if we're going to go to Elbaf next. I don't know if we're going to just... Who knows what's going to happen after Wano? All I know is that it's going to be all-out war, and anything we've seen during Marineford is going to be overshadowed by what we see here on Onigashima. Because we're here now. The numbers being Oni makes a lot of sense with the whole Japanese folklore theme this arc and their overall appearance. It does make sense. They'd probably be the most yokai-looking individuals in all of One Piece, especially in Wano in terms of just how close to Japan they need to be. We need a team attack between the Supernovas against Kaido. Kind of reminds me of the ending of One Piece Power Warriors 4. Something similar was used. If you want to play that game and you haven't played through it, then I won't say any more than that. But it's kind of similar. Do you think this raid is the last part of Wano, or do you think Luffy will lose and the final battle... It's hard to say. Like I brought this up during my reaction of this last chapter. I was saying that Luffy by himself, he may be strong, but taking on 2 Yonko is going to be exhausting. Even with all the samurai there, all the minks, so many different powers are there in Wano that it's literally anybody's guess on who will come out on top. So I cannot say. Like, you got Big Mom, who's a tank. And she has, at this point, I feel like she still has Prometheus with her. So we don't know how her interaction with Nami is going to go. I know one of you said something about that earlier. We don't know how her interaction with Nami is going to go since Nami basically stole Zeus from her. And we don't know how it's going to go with Kaido, and if Luffy has literally fine-tuned his advanced form of armament haki in order to injure Kaido overall. We don't know. We need Tama to sneak some of those dango into Kaido's ramen. If Kaido eats one of those, we have yet to see anyone ever resist its effects, so who knows what would happen. If Tama shows up, I'm going to be flabbergasted. But at this point, we don't know. So far, what I saw, the terrain does not seem like it, but we have seen very little of the castle. We don't know. We don't know anything. For what I see, the terrain doesn't seem like it, but we have seen very little of the castle. Exactly. The place, Onigashima, is huge. Like, in comparison to the ships, comparing the skull of Onigashima to the ships itself, the place is massive. The place is absolutely massive. So I wouldn't put it past this place to be the final battle area for Wano, but not the final half of Wano. Because we always get like stuff that happens after a battle happens before they go into a new arc. They did it with Fishman Island. They did it with Dressrosa. And I wouldn't be surprised if they did it here. Like having a resting period before they move on to the next location. Plus, they still have to find the rogue poneglyph as well in Kaido's castle. Not just take down Kaido and Big Mom, but they got to find that thing as well, because that's the only thing that's going to help them find Raftail. Well, Laugh-Tail. Kaido would resist the effect, I think, willpower, that really plays a lot into One Piece. If not, her devil fruit would be just too OP. I wonder what happens when a Zoan user awakens his fruit. Basically, just look at the guards of Impel Down, the Zoan users. All the Zoan users of all the Zoan Impel Down guards are all awakened Zoan users. We don't know the full extent of their capabilities, but we know that it increases their strength literally tenfold by what their normal strength would be if they regularly augmented and did a hybrid version of themselves. So just actually, you know what? Since we got time, let's actually go ahead and pull that up. Impel Down. Let's go ahead and pull the guards themselves so we can actually find out a little bit more of them. Minotaurus would be a good option. So we have the Jailer Beasts is what they're called. Minotaurus, Mino Koala, Mino Rhinoceros, Mino Zebra, and Mino Chihuahua. All of them are all awakened Devil Fruit Zoan users. He is for example, Minotaurus is one of the 5 jailer beasts in Impel Down, and the first to appear. He's an awakened Zoan user who ate a fruit that allows him to turn into a Holstein cow. Now, in terms of strength, he has eaten an as of yet unknown Zoan type devil fruit that allows him to become a cow. Because he is an awakened Zoan, he's able to recover rapidly even after suffering high amounts of damage. An awakened Logia can alter the weather or alter the terrain if Punk Hazard isn't an example. Because Punk Hazard is the destination where Akainu and Kuzan, Kuzan had their 10-day battle. Battle so long that it permanently changed the environment in all of Punk Hazard. One side is perpetually in heat with no change whatsoever, and the other side is in an eternal blizzard. So, like you say, D-Train, an awakened Logia user can fundamentally change the environment permanently to a destination if their powers are left unchecked for an extended period of time. But let me pull up Zoan. And then where is the section for awakened? Awakened, artificial, mythical. We have a lot of mythical and ancients as well. Like we have the Tori Tori no Mi model Phoenix eaten by Marco, the Hito Hito no Mi model Daibutsu by Sengoku, currently unnamed Eastern Dragon type by Kaido, the Inu Inu model Kyubi no Kitsune eaten by Katarina Devon, and the Hebi Hebi no Mi model Yamata no Orochi eaten by Kurozumi Orochi. Non-canonically, we have the Bat Fruit model Vampire eaten by Patrick Redfield from One Piece World Red. Tori Tori no Mi model Nue eaten by Toratsugu, and Ino Ino no Mi model Bake Danuki eaten by Pato, the Tanuki from One Piece World Red as well. And then we have artificials. Let me see, where is the awakened category? Awakening. All right, like all devil fruit, Zoan types can be awakened, and awakened Zoan grants far greater strength, speed, and durability than unawakened Zoan powers. This also includes a faster recovery rate, which functions involuntarily even when the user is unconscious. So an awakened devil fruit user, their body heals even if they're unconscious. They're just perpetually healing all the time. What have you guys been saying? Why else would Oda introduce an ability that's specific in an arc centered around Zoan users unless she was going to play a pivotal role? I bet Kuzan and Akainu awakened their fruits, and that's why Punk Hazard looks like it how it looks. Exactly. That's the theory. It has been confirmed, but given the information that we know, that's pretty much the conclusion that we come to. They awakened their devil fruits to such a degree they permanently changed the environment and weather on an entire island. She doesn't have to use it on Kaido, but I can see her using it on all the gifters at the very least. I'm still curious about Im-sama and the Great Cleansing. There's just... even after we're done with Wano, we still have Marie-Joie to contend with. Like, what happened to Sabo? What happened to Kuma? Do we finally get to see Ryuko Gyu? What happened with Fujitora? What happens with the 7 warlords? Well, former 7 warlords. And the fact that all the Marines went after them. There's so much we have to catch up on once Wano is over. And I feel like that is going to blow our minds when we find out what happens after Wano is over. I would love a canon vampire fruit, just like Patrick Redfield's. It'd be interesting. I highly doubt she can tame someone of Kaido's level. Imagine she trained her devil fruit and then awakened it. Zoan users could do nothing against her, and that would be too OP. Kaido, she can tame all the others, and no one wants to see the Straw Hats win like that because it would be an insta-win button. So I kind of doubt that Tama would show up. Sure, it would be cool if she showed up, but I highly doubt that she would, because she's an insta-win against Zoan users. She's basically a living cheat code to get any animal, be them regularly an animal or a Zoan type. Using it on the gifters would be good. It would be good, but still too easy because it would make it easier for them to just go through everybody. All right, let me go through this again. Awakened Zoan users have yet to show signs of complex thought, seemingly acting out of instinct and power. Kind of like how Chopper does in his Monster Point at first, but then he's learned to control it. All awakened Zoan users seen so far are always in a form resembling their full beast form, but with human attributes. It is unknown if they became this way permanently upon awakening, or if these forms are a conscious choice. 4 of the 5 jailer beasts are all classified as awakened Zoan users, with the 5th one being unknown. So the ones that are confirmed are Mino Koala, Zebra, Taurus, and Rhinoceros, with the Chihuahua one being the one that's unconfirmed. I believe we're going to Marie-Joie after Wano, especially if Luffy gets worried about something happening to Sabo. And since Luffy has absolutely no chill about going up against the Celestial Dragons, being he actually declared war on the world government, I wouldn't be surprised if he tries to make his way to Marie-Joie as well. But of course, that will be after the massive party once they beat Kaido, Big Mom, and pretty much everyone else on Onigashima at the time. But there's just a lot to think about here. Like this story, we are getting closer and closer to 1,000 chapters of One Piece. We are literally almost 20 chapters away. And if we keep going the rate that we are going, we could possibly see us enter into the 1,000 range either. How many weeks are left? How many Sundays are left in this year? Hold on, let me look this up. How many Sundays left in 2020? Exactly 52 Sundays in the year 2020. So there's 52 Sundays, but how many do we have left? We're already, well, if we go from May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, that's 7 more months. So how many Sundays are in 7 months? We can kind of gauge how many chapters we could get, give or take a break or two. How many Sundays are in 7 months? Well, dang it, it's not going to tell me. Ah, well, I'll figure it out later. But there's a lot to go on here. There's a lot to think about. There's a lot of information that we don't know. And I don't... Let me see what you guys are saying. Final War, Straw Hats and the Revolutionaries and Grand Fleet and probably the Supernovas versus the World Government, Gorosei and Im-sama. I want a big reveal for Chapter 1000, or at least I want it to be a really good chapter. If Oda does not deliver the best chapter since the Ultimate, something that can surpass that as a chapter, I will be thoroughly disappointed. But given how Oda has been giving us such phenomenal chapters when it comes to massive reveals, I don't doubt that we're going to get a good chapter. Especially on chapter 1000 of all things. Like, you got to consider it a lifetime achievement award for your book to get to 1000 chapters. So many volumes. How many volumes? We're currently already in the 90s. So that's pretty much 34 Sundays left. Shonen Sensei, thank you. So give or take a Sunday or two. Let's say he takes out 4 Sundays. That still leaves us, just count it. Thank you, Shonen Sensei. Math has never been my strongest suit. So thank you for helping me out with that. So give or take a day or two, maybe, let's say about 5 days. He'd still, at the very least, we probably hit 1,000 chapters either going into next year or right at the tail end of this year. So 1,000 chapters is probably going to happen in 2021. Well, because if what is happening in the world, we might have less chapters. Yeah, you're right. So the 1,000 chapter of One Piece more than likely may very well be into the next year. But you got to factor in breaks. Yes, so pretty much let's just say sometime in next year is when we're going to hit 1,000 chapters. And if everybody doesn't celebrate when we hit that point, I'm going to be disappointed, because that's a big achievement for your manga to get to 1,000 chapters. Since 1996, he's been doing this manga, and he's been going strong ever since, delivering pivotal chapter after pivotal chapter, especially since this Wano arc has been going on. It just makes you wonder, what are we going to read, and how hype are we going to be for manga after One Piece is over? That's what I've been thinking. Like, literally half of my channel has been dedicated to just reading One Piece and reacting to it with you guys. But once that is over, what's next? I don't want to think about that right now. I'd rather enjoy the moment with you guys, because I'd rather not think about when it ends. I rather enjoy it while it's still here. So, ladies and gentlemen, I've been carrying on for 2 hours and 30 minutes. I've been chilling with this Admiral cult that did not want to obey me this entire time. So I just want to say thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you for coming out to see me today. I enjoyed it. It was so much fun. You guys inspire me to do more like this and, follow my dream of doing this full time or whatever. I know I say this all the time, but I got to reiterate, that's my dream, and that's what I'm holding steadfast to. Doesn't matter what's going out there in the world today. I'm still holding on to it. You can still talk about One Piece for 5 years, especially, yeah, we can. One Piece, we still talk about stuff from many years ago. You was 5 when One Piece started. I feel old. I'm 28 right now. So I was born in 92. So I might have been 4, might have been 5 as well. But let me get back to what I was saying before. You guys helped make this channel amazing. Thank you for enduring all this long time. You guys didn't even have to stay this whole 2 hours. You really didn't have to, but I appreciate it. Thank you. Know that despite what's going out there in the world today, I'm still going to do my best to bring you guys quality stuff that you guys can watch and react to, and we can talk about and enjoy ourselves with. I'm still going to keep doing that. I'm striving towards keeping things positive, because as of right now, the world needs more positivity right now. So thank you guys for spreading the love. Thank you for making this channel amazing. I am greatly appreciated for you. I thank God I'm able to do this all the time. This is where my talents lie, and I'm just learning to build on it. So thank you, everybody. Well, I missed an hour, but it was fun talking to you. It's an honor for me to talk to you guys as well. From all walks of life, I'm happy that I'm able to get up here and entertain you guys as best as I can. And you know what? I think I look kind of dapper with the tie on. I might have to walk around the house all day just wearing this. I like these streams where we talk about One Piece or just general stuff. I'm going to do more of those because I kind of like talking to you guys. I do need to be careful, though, because sometimes I tend to reveal too much about myself during live streams that I don't need to, so I'm learning about that. But as I do this more and more, I'll get better at it. So, yeah, that's all I got for you guys. If I missed anything during these whole 2 hours that I've been going through this, I need a drink of water. Then I'm sorry that I missed it, but I covered all the things that really stuck out to me and how all these chapters stuck out to me as a whole. So overall, I enjoyed myself. So ladies and gentlemen, we've reached the end of the stream. I'm hungry. I'm thirsty. It's time for me to go eat and play some more Darksiders. Hope you all enjoyed. Can't wait to see you all in my next video. So have a fantastic day. I'm just taking this all in. Have a fantastic day. And once again, as always, later, peoples. And learn to follow your own sense of justice. You guys are amazing. Till next time, everybody. Later, peoples.